What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of the Dead Bread Podcast here on another glamorous Thursday night. Apologies for the late start as my camera decides to work and not to work sometimes and coordinate with the StreamYard platform. But got another loaded show for you guys. Baseball and football being some of the subjects and creative subjects we'll be talking about. But I think the first spring training game is about 11 or actually, no, not 11 days away. It's about a week and a half away. So we're getting closer to baseball in here. We'll actually have something to talk about. Shouts to anyone who's tuning in the chat. Like, comment, subscribe, do all the good stuff. Turn on post notifications so you know when a live stream pops or a video drops. Appreciate y'all coming back. Us at Big Blue in the Bronx are trying to hit 1,000 subscribers. But with that being said, I'll throw it over to my co-host, Sox. What is going on, my man?
What's up? Yeah, spring training very close. A lot of story talking points going into Red Sox spring training right around the corner, and just looking forward to see you guys approach at the plate and how this pitching staff's going to do. Can't believe baseball's already here, moving on from football already, but doing well, man. How are you?
Doing good. So as it's just posted, if you haven't already comment, subscribe to all the good stuff. Shouts to Jeffrey in the chat. What is going on? Shouts to Jacob in the chat, guys. Definitely share out as well. That's a big that's a big talking point. That's a big point in growing this channel. Also, if you haven't already, check out the last two videos I put out. One of them relating to the Yankees. Actually, two of them relating to the Yankees, and then one of them relating to the New York Giants. So appreciate you guys for tuning in. I want to bring up one point. I think we'll obviously start with the baseball subject here. And also, guys, please spam the chat with questions. I kind of lost a little bit of my childhood today, Sox. I don't know if you heard, but Tim McCarver passed away.
No, I did not.
Yeah, Tim McCarver passed away. And, I have a interesting feeling about Joe Buck now because he's, there's kind of a bad taste in my mouth with the way he's done football games with Troy Aikman. But watching those old games, man, and it's very weird. It's very weird because yesterday I was preparing for a subject we were going to do tonight, and we're still going to go through with it, obviously, I guess, in Tim's honor. I was going through a subject, and I'm like, you know what? Let's just for fun, we'll do this subject, which is our top 5 broadcasting teams sports wide. And the picture that I pulled up was Joe Buck and Tim McCarver, and then obviously today we get the news of Tim McCarver's passing. But always watching those, old World Series games, old playoff games, old primetime games with Tim McCarver. I mean, even though I wasn't alive, well, I guess in some way I was alive, but then again, right. I just wasn't watching baseball at the time to see them in their prime.
Yeah.
But I still appreciate Tim McCarver. I know a lot of people, like to rag on him. I don't really get why, but Sox, your thoughts on Mr. McCarver?
Yeah. I mean, I wish we could, you and I both could be alive. We were, but watching baseball at that time, maybe a little bit older at that time, that'd have been nice. But the same thing goes for Joe Buck. I don't know why people hate on him so much. I'm a big Joe Buck fan. I feel like when people are in that spot where they're calling big games, it's easy to critique them, but they're there for a reason. So rest in peace to the great man.
Yeah, I definitely agree. But I guess we could kind of start here for tonight since we're on the subject. Then we'll go into more of a spring training-esque preview and also the World Baseball. First of all, do you watch the World Baseball Classic? Do you?
I didn't for a long time. The last couple times I've been getting into it. When it was here in San Diego, I think the fans were it was unbelievable to see the energy there. So I think I'll get into it more as it goes on.
I started watching, I think it was in 2013. I think that was when Cano played for either the U.S. team or the Dominican team. I'm pretty sure it was the Dominican team. And that was obviously a year the Yankees weren't really that good. But yeah, that was the first year I remember kind of tuning into it. And then 2017 was, I think, the year that the U.S. won. Okay. So it was more memorable. And I think that was the same year. You probably remember where Adam Jones, the American team, went up, caught that
ball.
Rob Manny Machado at Dodgers Stadium.
Right.
And Machado kind of tipped the cap to his teammate. Shouts to Booyah. Get Yanks in the chat. What's going on, man? Jeffrey says, did you know Tim McCarver played for the Red Sox? I did not. I know he was part of the Cardinals organization for the longest time as broadcaster. He was also a player for them. But yeah, 1974 and 1975. So he actually was a part of that World Series team that faced the Cincinnati Reds as a part of that time. But yeah, two-time All-Star, two-time World Series champion. So shout out to Daniel Berry Sports. What's going on, my man? So
What's going on?
I guess we could start with top 5 broadcaster teams of all time before moving into our spring training preview. And guys, please once again spam your questions and whatnot. So this goes for like anything, MLB,
Mm-hmm.
NFL, NBA. If Sox were a guy to watch golf or something, which I don't think he does, but
No.
making the joke, of course. Throw some. How about this? How about we start with a little kind of description, and kind of talk about why it's so meaningful for us in terms of like admiring sports broadcasts. I know it's more of a classroom. Then again, that's kind of a reason why we're on here. So, Sox.
No, I think it's more important than a lot of people realize that the people calling these games, and especially radio announcers, don't get enough credit for painting that picture in your mind. But they're the ones that their voices are in your living room while you're watching that game, and it's a lot of pressure and a lot of work goes into calling those games, and it's a week-long process. I wanted to be a broadcaster when I was in high school and early in college as well, and it takes a lot, and they know a lot about their stuff. But some names that go out to me that right away are John Gruden and Mike Tirico. Like, I loved watching them. Just the energy and knowledge that those guys brought were really cool. That's one of my favorite right off the top of my head.
What jersey you're wearing today?
Oh, I wish I could turn around and show you. It's Xander Bogaerts from Padres. Xander Bogaerts jersey, fresh.
Really? Tell us that one.
Yeah. So, when I moved to San Diego, I didn't think it was going to be like that much of a baseball town. Once the Chargers left, now the Padres are all they have here. So everybody's all in, and everybody's surprised to be working with such a diehard Red Sox fan. And one of my employees got me this fresh Xander Bogaerts jerseys that aren't even on the MLB shop yet, which is really cool. So I appreciate that gift. I really do.
Maybe, I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and spoil the gift for you, but maybe he just did one of them custom things. He put Bogarts in whatever number he's wearing. But listen, that's still a pretty good gift. But
whatever it is.
Right, and obviously you mentioned a couple of times you'll probably be looking to see the Sox over in San Diego this year.
Yeah, I got the May 19th through the 21st. They'll be in town, and I got those tickets before Bogarts was even a Padre, so that'll be interesting to see.
Definitely looking forward to the stories and all that sort of stuff. So obviously you mentioned Mike Tirico and John Gruden. I would say around the time they were broadcasting, I wasn't necessarily a football fan. I know obviously, in their prime and all that sort of stuff. When I started watching football, it was Sean McDonough and John Gruden, because Tirico went over to NBC at that point. But I say we start drafting a list of our now obviously putting it into the top 5, but maybe make a top 10, and then like not necessarily top 10, but just maybe like 5 to 10 groups, 5 to 10 teams, and then start eliminating guys and putting it into your top 5. So the one is very underrated, and I'm also going to put this one into football. And this guy, he got, I would say, I don't know whether he was fired or his contract was up. Speaking of San Diego and relatance a little bit, he actually used to play for them. That's Dan Fouts and Iron Eagle, and I thought they were a really solid broadcast team for a few years. But in 2020, CBS decided to go another way, and they hired Charles Davis off of Fox. And Fouts now, what he does mostly is I believe he does the preseason games for the Los Angeles Chargers, at least the last time. And he it's funny, Sox, is I'm pretty sure he was actually, because I was in Florida earlier in not this past January, but in August, and I was watching preseason games while I was at the apartment and whatnot. And one of the games was Chargers Cowboys. It's funny enough, he actually does the games with Noah Eagle, who actually is getting a lot of run around because his dad is one of the best voices in sports. So one group off the top of my head is definitely Ian Eagle and Dan Fouts, and I don't think they're replaceable.
I think that's a good point. I was a big fan of Dan Fouts, and I think he does some radio stuff for the Chargers right now. If I'm not mistaken, I think you're right with the preseason games, but I think during the season he might be the radio broadcaster as well. Yeah, I'll just say I think one of my favorites is Chris Collinsworth and Al Michaels. I was always a fan of Chris Collinsworth. I don't know why people hate on his voice, all these memes about him, but he went to school at Florida, I believe, played for the Bengals for a long time, big, tall receiver, underrated in my opinion. I'm just a big Chris Collinsworth fan, and I think him and Al Michaels brought a lot to the table. I'm sad that ride's over.
Kind of wanted, because he actually called a game for the NBC network once again. I think it was in the playoffs, actually. I want to say it may have been that Jaguars game where it was a different game. It was calling for NBC, and I'm like, it's kind of sad we didn't get that reunion once again. But
Right.
no, the Giants suck so many years in the years that I've been watching them, and it's like, can they please get on Sunday Night Football?
Right.
Because I do kind of cherish Al Michaels, and I know obviously he's on the downturn of his career because he's getting to his 80s, and you're not necessarily as energetic and proactive and all that sort of stuff or whatever. But the Giants got on Sunday Night Football in 2020 against the Cleveland Browns. And I was so excited. And now a lot of people were like, we usually don't do good on primetime, this, that, and the other thing. And then they announced that, now it's going to be Collinsworth and Mike Tirico. It's not going to be Al Michaels. So I was kind of pissed about that. And then when the Giants get on Sunday Night Football, when they got flexed this year, obviously he's no longer a part of the network. And then we didn't even get on Thursday Night Football this year. But then again, I guess that may have been a good thing since all the bad games were played on there. Trying to think off the top of my head of what, because obviously you brought one up that I put into my list: Ian Eagle, Dan Fouts, Joe Buck, and Tim McCarver. Did you ever watch any games? And I think this was more the 90s type of thing. But did you ever watch any of the World Series games, the playoff games that those two did with Bob Brenly?
No, I didn't know they did games with Bob Brenly, and he's on my list of one of my top favorite announcers just because of his Arizona connection and all that. But I did not watch those games. No.
Yeah. So if anyone like Sox hadn't known, he actually did a couple of games. Bob, and it wasn't a common back in the day for like three sets. Like, you had Joe Buck, you had Troy Aikman, and Chris Collinsworth back in like the 2004, 2005. But before that, from what I can remember, for the Yankees World Series, the first one against the Braves, you had Joe Buck, Tim McCarver, and Bob Brenly. I think Brenly ended up, or maybe he's still doing games for the Diamondbacks right now. But he's got a solid broadcasting voice. Then obviously a few years after that, he won the World Series with the D-backs. He sounded pretty good. So, he'll be, I guess, an honorable mention on that list. So we got Joe Buck, we got Tim McCarver, Bob Brenly, and then at least on my list, and Ian Eagle, Dan Fouts, Chris Collinsworth, and Al Michaels. And the thing is I don't know how you felt about it. Obviously, maybe we'll touch on the Super Bowl at some point during the show. I kind of liked coming into the game Greg Olson and Kevin Burkhardt.
Yeah.
And obviously, we all got the news about Tom Brady. He's coming in as a broadcaster, not this coming season, but the next year. And it's just like, I liked them coming into the game, and then I thought they did too much gargling on the Eagles side. Like, did you feel that there was a bias, or was it just?
Yeah, I did. I was surprised, like I mentioned it before, I was surprised the Eagles had so much of the fanfare and the media fare. It was like the Chiefs weren't even a real football team anymore. So, yeah, I agree. I think the media was all over the Eagles in general too much.
It's just that Burkhardt himself is a very good announcer, and I admire him. But it's like the people, like Charles Davis, I think he's good. I think he's, okay. Greg Olson until that point would have been on my list, so I might have to keep Burkhardt as like an asterisk on my list. So I'll put it down right now. What are your now? I don't know that you have had much experience watching him. Obviously, through Giants games, maybe he does a lot of Knick games. He does like a lot of Ranger games, and sometimes he'll do MLB games. What are your thoughts on Kenny Albert?
I like Kenny Albert. I always thought that his voice was not my favorite back when I was younger, but he seems to be very professional. And I didn't know he did games all over like that, but I'm familiar with him through Giants games. I like him. I don't know if he'd be on my top 5 list, but I think he fits the NFL well.
Yeah, no, I don't. I'm not. He's not in my top 5, but he's like he's there, and I like him, and he's talented. I mean, obviously, a lot of people will assume he got the job because his dad was an unbelievable broadcaster, but so we got those 3 plus Burkhardt on the list right now. Any more that come to your mind?
I would go with moving over to the NBA world. I'd go with Jeff Van Gundy and Mike Breen. I think they're probably the best duo in possibly NBA history. They got to be on my list. Just the fact that they bicker with each other too on air is just hilarious. They always got something to say about the refs or the bench players or each other. It's great.
One thing and I've watched, obviously, and I'm not necessarily as big in the NBA, trying to get more into it, of course, as my brother and Donald are. But when the Knicks are on prime time, I always think I like Jeff Van Gundy better than Stan Van Gundy. I just find Stan very annoying.
Yeah.
But for me, I guess the shots that Coach Ed's Amazing World of Sports, you guys can go subscribe to his channel as well. And I think if Jeffrey's still in here, you go subscribe to his channel too. Bless you, Sox, if that counted as a sneeze.
Thank you. It was almost a sneeze. I don't know what it was.
A sneeze. So I'd probably create a detour and put Clyde Frazier and Mike Breen on my list because I think they've been, I think, there for the Knicks for a long time, and it's just a duo you can't miss with. Now, if I'm gonna insert bias or non-bias, but I'll get it out of the way right now. I don't know if Michael K and the Yes Network would be on the top of my list of favorite. Now, obviously, Michael K back in the day, sure. But the way I've perceived him over the last couple of years as like this egotistical, big-headed, type of guy, I'm just like, is he really on my top 5? Is he really somebody I admire at that position? So,
right.
I mean, obviously,
I'm not a fan of the Yes Network. Trust me, I should know her name, but the lady that's on there, I was just never
Meredith Marakovitz or Kim
Meredith.
Jones?
Meredith, yes. I don't know how Yankees fans feel about her. From an outsider, I'm not a big
fan. So I'll give you a little story kind of thing. Do you know she works kind of with WFA now? You know of Kim Jones, right?
I'm not sure.
Okay, so let me show you a picture of her real quick. So Kim Jones.
She seems knowledgeable about the game. I will say that.
What, Meredith Marakovitz?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's share my screen for 30 seconds. I'll get to 2 comments in just a second. No, Pepsi is not awful.
Yes, Pepsi is awful.
Pepsi is not awful.
Sometimes I'll mix it with like a Dr. Pepper or maybe even a root beer. And that makes it a little bit more bearable, but God,
why would you do such a thing? I will say something. I will say this. One time I tried Coke and Sprite, and it's not bad.
Never try. I have never tried a light and dark soda together. I've never tried it.
This is Kim Jones, by the way.
Okay, I think I'm familiar with Kim Jones.
So truth is, Jess was messing in the chat. Truth is about her is she actually used to work for the Yankees. She was the reporter, dugout reporter, whatever the hell you want to call it. I don't know what. I think her contract was up in 2011, and that's when Meredith Marakovitz came in and did all that stuff. But Kim Jones, she's another one that used to sit with me as a favorite because when I started watching baseball, she was the Yes Network, dugout reporter. And then
Mm.
she started lagging on to the Giants, asking these really stupid questions related to OBJ, to Dave
Oh,
Gettleman and all that sort of stuff. So I'm like, why you riding him like that? You finna put that Pepsi in your screwdriver drink, whatever that means. Then Meredith took that. Yep.
I
Uh,
will say Pepsi and grenadine is really good. You got to add something to Pepsi to make it good. That's the problem.
your taste buds are obviously in a different world, and that kind of relates to this. Well, I can't say it relates to the Giants, but then again, the Celtics. I mean, I'll give you they're a very good basketball team with
Sure,
the Red Sox, but
sure.
um, yeah. Jeffrey's basically asking your thoughts. As Joe Mazzulla is now the permanent head coach.
Yeah, man. Joe knows. That's all I got to say. Joe knows. Good hard-nosed defensive basketball. Move the ball on offense, transition. I mean, it's high-flying ball. Watch out for the Celtics coming out of the East, man.
Oh, a very damn good team. Swishing and dishing, Matador defense is another one. He's got a lot of great catchphrases. Like, there's not. I mean, you'll see obviously Michael K. Seal and whatnot, but Clyde's remarks are just very entertaining, and that's what I've kind of caught on to as a semi Knicks fan. Mets don't have beautiful broadcasters. Steve Jelves is not eye candy whatsoever. Knicks gonna shock them Celtics. The Knicks have been coming on as late, but I don't know if I mean, they beat him before, so we'll see what happens. But how do you feel about the Mets broadcasting crew? Because they are widely known as one of the best
Right.
in the MLB. Like, do you feel the same way? I don't know if I do, to be honest.
I like the energy. I think that's a big part of it. It brings a whole nother level to the game. I don't think they're on my favorite list. I would put the Padres announcers up there at the top. I'd put the Mariners crew up there. I'd put the Red Sox crew above them. Maybe in the top 10 or so.
That's kind of an underrated one that you just mentioned. The Mariners crew. Not
Mariners
the
crew's
guy
good.
that there's I usually get them mixed up. There's Dave Newhaws, which I think both of them are passed away now. I can't necessarily say I'm sure of that.
I'm
I
not
know the
sure.
radio guy, because there's two separate calls, if you remember, if anyone else also, in the chat remembers as well. I'll get to your thing in a second, Booyah Yanks. But the famous, I think it was, why do I not remember the man who hit that ball? I think it wasn't Joey Core, Edgar Martinez. That 1995 ALDS Game 5 hit. It was two separate calls. I think it was Newhaws and somebody else.
Okay.
And I'm pretty sure Newhaws is the guy I'm a fan of. The other guy, I'm like, So let's take a look. 1995 Seattle Mariners. So television. So there's Rick Riz, I think, is the other guy.
Rick Riz, yep.
Newhaws, I'm pretty sure, is the guy I'm more of a fan of. But let's see. Newhaws is unfortunately no longer with us. I think it might be Riz, actually, because I know Newhaws has passed away since 2010. So
Yeah, Rick
but
Riz is
one
the
of
guy
them,
that I like.
one of them, I admire.
Yeah.
Keith had contract conflicts. I did hear about that. They're the only guys I listen to, so I'm biased. K is good. If he didn't have a show, he'd be respected at a greater level. That might be the smartest comment so far of the night. I'm going to be honest with you.
That's fair.
Because if he didn't have a show, I would say he is in my top 5, but it's very tough to get him there right now. The only thing that's holding me, with him is my childhood and all that. I kind of like the angles of the Angels, because the movie Angels in the Outfield and the Indians for the movie Major League with Wild Thing. Did we ever touch? I don't know if we ever touched on our favorite baseball movies on this show.
I think we did. We did recently, like 2 weeks ago or something like that.
Okay. Alex, if you were the manager of the Yankees, what would you done different in the offseason? And Andrew, what would you do different with the Red Sox? So, that's a good question. Thank you for the question. Let's see. What would I do differently? Well, I would trade for Jake McCarthy at this moment. And also, I would have never traded for Frankie Montas. That trade is terrible because now he's not going to be back till the second half of the season. Not like it wasn't predictable, because I kind of predicted it, because, A lot of Oakland pitchers don't succeed because of the big stadium. B, he's very injury prone. As I noted in my YouTube short, in addition to that, he's just always had arm issues. We gave up a whole bunch of pitching prospects. No, sorry, just no. So I wouldn't have traded for Matas. I would have traded pieces for Odon and then maybe sign like a Brandon Nimmo or Yoshida in free agency. But, or maybe at this point trade for Jake McCarthy. And also I would have gotten rid of Hicks and Donaldson much earlier in the offseason. So there's that. This man don't like Coke and Little Big League. Give Luka exclusive rights now. Well, Luka doesn't like soda at all, so I don't know how you want to.
That's smart. Luka's smart. He's the only smart one here by not drinking soda. And you got to drink that ice cold water. Maybe some Gatorade for the electrolytes. Sugar's bad for you.
Yeah. So not only is Sox my podcast host, now he's gonna be my dietitian.
Right. Yeah.
We'll get you. I'm a thin stick. I'm a thin stick, and I usually drink.
Me too.
5. I usually drink like 3 to 5 of these a day. I'm going to be honest because I do a lot of talking and all this sort of stuff. Your ass wasn't getting Nimmo. Well, yeah, but it's always good to dream.
All I gotta say about the Sox is that I would have paid Xander Bogaerts 2 off seasons ago. They should have never let him walk. Even this year, if the asking price was too much, I would have kept him around. I love that Devers is going to be our guy now. That's about it for me because the biggest question right now is middle infield. We're going to have to have Kike Hernandez as our starting shortstop, so that takes away from other positions. That's my biggest problem with the Sox offseason.
Right. To add to MH's comment, he goes, "Candy is my vice." I used to be very, very big on candy. That's something I've grown out of. I'm going to be completely honest because I used to be a big Starburst addict when I was, 5, 6 years old, and they would always give me cavities, and I would still eat them anyway. Then I was a Kit Kat guy for a little bit. Actually, before that, I was Fun Dip, but
dude, that's what I'm on right now.
Fun Dip.
I love Fun Dip, and also a frozen Kit Kat is the best thing in the world.
Frozen Kit Kat's pretty good.
Yeah,
frozen Kit Kat is pretty good. I will give you that. But I got addicted to Fun Dip in like 4th grade through Valentine's Day. Not that anyone was, my Valentine at the time or any of that sort of stuff, but people were just passing it out, and I'm like, what the fuck is this shit? So tried it, happy to like it. So
yeah, that stuff's dangerous.
What it is dangerous. It is dangerous. Don't use it responsibly, kids. Use it responsibly. Don't watch any adult movies and all that sort of shit.
Right.
Candy won't kill you unless you're eating it every week. Cigarettes, well, yeah. I mean, I don't smoke, so
I'll dabble with a cigarette here and there. It won't kill you as long as you dabble.
Right. I mean, I guess, but as I said, that's a smokers, non-smokers mindset, whatever. But do you guys like Snapple drinks? Yeah, I do. I would take. You're not big on that.
Not big on that. I don't really find myself drinking Snapples.
It's not my most favorite. If you gave me a top 3, if you gave me a 3 of Brisk, Snapple, and Arizona, I'm always taking Arizona at the top. I'm taking Snapple second. I'm taking Brisk third. Not that I hate Brisk, but I'm just like,
I'm just more used to Brisk. I would go Arizona, Brisk, Snapple. It's just I didn't grow up drinking Snapple.
It was a mixture. It's just like a mixture for me because when we were growing up in northeastern Pennsylvania, like not really any of that stuff was big. Arizona, especially not. Like I don't remember having Arizona unless I came here because it was always cheap over here with the bottles and whatnot. Snapple, it's kind of the same thing here, but we used to grow up with like there were 2 kind of companies. There were Zimmerman's, and they would sell them in cartons locally. Zimmerman's and what the fuck was the other one? Zimmerman's and Bear Creek. Bear Creek was always my iced tea. So just a little insight on northeastern Pennsylvania customs. Shouts to Armand in the chat. Snapple peach tea is pretty fire. I will give you that. And Arizona is the GOAT. Let's see. MH, does Yankee Stadium have good chicken? I will give them that. They do have good chicken. The chicken bucket is always my go-to, even if I don't finish the 20 pounds of fries they give me.
What is it? What exactly is it little pieces of chicken in the bucket, or is it wings? Is it thighs? Tenders. Okay.
Tenders. You get barbecue sauce. The fries. Still $20, which is a good thing, but that's where you get a Yankee Stadium. The other shit I wouldn't necessarily. I mean, I don't really fuck with the other stuff. I mean, they do sell like tiny hot dogs for like $2.84 or whatever. I find that kind of cheap because it's Yankee Stadium, and if you don't really want to waste the money on the chicken bucket, you're not gonna finish. Get the hot dog.
Or
But
5 hot dogs.
my issue with Yankee Stadium the last 2 years is they've tried to become a little bit more gentrified. Like they added in halal guys this year. People, I see people getting sushi. Like, I'm not a fan of sushi, but why get it at a fucking ball game? Like,
Yeah.
that's just not my thing.
Yeah, I mean, I like the diversity a little bit, especially in a place like, especially a place like New York where you have a lot of different kind of people there, and it's just weird at a ball game. Just give me a hot dog and a soda.
Exactly. I agree with that. But I want to quickly respond, and I know Sox has seen some of my videos, but I want to quickly highlight this because of MH. All right, kind of not mentally prepared to do this because it's like 10:30 at night, and I don't feel like having people scream at me. And I don't care that the Eagles beat us in the playoffs and beat our asses 3 times this season. So let me get myself prepared for this. Philly, what happened? I was so just generally. It took me a couple minutes to generally get excited.
That is hilarious. I saw somebody in the comments and be like, "Okay, now get inside."
Yeah, that's he is. I'm like, hey, my neighborhood's actually pretty good.
Yeah,
that I will admit. But no, my brother was just a little tidbit before we go back to all your comments and stuff like that. My brother was like making excuses for that holding call, and he's like, "Oh, that wasn't holding." I'm like, why do you care? It's the Eagles. Like,
yeah, we'll take it.
As you said, there's a lot of fanfare towards the Eagles, surprisingly, and no. Yankee Stadium is a giant shopping mall. The words of Gary Sheffield Jr. He said, "Yankee Stadium is a field with a shopping mall around it." I would have to agree. I don't think old Yankee Stadium was. Now, obviously, I've never been to old Yankee Stadium. I wasn't able to, unfortunately, but I don't think old Yankee Stadium was like that. I don't know how I don't know. I mean, if MH knows or whatnot, like the comparisons between Shea and Citi Field right now. So I'd like to know that. $7 Coke. Well, they are a Pepsi company. They are a Pepsi vendor. So that's the one thing I'll give Yankee Stadium. But it's going to be interesting when we make it up to Boston in a few months, and we'll see. I don't know. Are the Red Sox a Coke vending company, or are they a Pepsi vending company?
They're going to be a Coke. They got Coca-Cola sign out in left field. They know what they're doing.
Sad.
It's just another superior. Just another superior.
No, see, MH and you, both of your teams have Coke, but the winning team. Not saying that we won championships in recent years, but hey, Yankee Stadium is.
They were winning before they were a Pepsi company.
Whatever. Never been to City, MH. Yeah, I mean, I met MH at Yankee Stadium. So I don't know how he dealt. How did you deal with all the Pepsi around you? I know you were sitting in the nosebleeds, but how'd you deal with all the Pepsi around you? But I've met people who have been to other stadiums and have never been to their own. Like somebody was talking about, they've been to Camden before they went to Boston or whatever. So pretty interesting.
I've been to like 8 ballparks. I've never been to my own. So
what are those 8 probably besides Dodger Stadium in San Diego and Chase Field?
I don't know if there's actually 8. So I've been to Seattle. I've been to
Seattle,
San Diego, LA, Anaheim, Chase Field, Cleveland, Cincinnati. That might be it. 7.
How would you rank it?
Petco Park, Cincinnati,
Park.
Cleveland, Chase Field, Seattle, Anaheim, Dodger Stadium.
Okay, all right. The moment I saw a $6 Pepsi, I knew this baseball food mania wasn't a myth. Interesting comment. Armand says, "I will be going back to Citi Field this year, first time since 2019." Oh, interesting. I wasn't at Citi Field. I've never been to Citi Field before 2000. That was last year, actually, so I don't need to recall the year. Lot can be said there shouldn't be food at games at all. Eat at home. Okay, that's an interesting comment,
That's a good
but
take.
yeah, well, I'm still trying to process what he said, to be completely transparent.
Yeah, me too,
But did you get
actually.
the gist of it?
No, I mean, I don't understand. I think people should be able to eat at the ball game.
Well, yeah. But guys, keep spamming us with your comments, food related, all that sort of fun
Whatever
stuff.
related.
Yeah. So we got a couple of those broadcasting teams down. What is your guys' favorite fast food place?
That's tough. I got my top 5, by the way. I narrowed it down, my top 5 for
Really?
those. Yeah.
Okay.
What I would say, I just went to a place that I didn't even know existed. It's called Which. It's a sandwich place. Unbelievable sandwich. Unbelievable.
That classify as fast food?
Yeah, it was. It was a fast food place, but I think we're talking generic, fast food places that are everywhere: McDonald's, Wendy's. Um, I'm a big Subway guy. I know a lot of people don't like
I
Subway.
can't stand Subway. I really can't.
I really like their
You know what Subway is? Subway's clickbait. You smell the fresh bread, right? You smell the fresh bread.
It's
And then you
delicious.
go in there and all they do is, for instance, I get like the chicken sandwiches, so it's either rotisserie chicken and all that other stuff. They'll take a fucking cold ass chicken cutlet or something, throw it in the toaster for 30 seconds, and then put it on a sandwich. I can't stand Subway. I think I've grown to hate Subway over the years. Like when I was growing up, I didn't have it a lot, and I didn't know what it tasted like. But I'm like, you know what? I'm glad this shit wasn't in my childhood. And thank you, Armand. Jersey Mike's over Subway. My sister actually used to work for Jersey Mike's, and I have a bunch of coupons and shit. So
I could agree with Jersey Mike's over Subway.
it's more fresh.
What's the other sandwich place that's really good? It's
That's Jimmy John's.
Jimmy John's is the king of all of them, in my opinion.
I've never been or had Jimmy John's.
Man, they're top of the line, and it's not like, I think the first mistake was probably getting chicken from Subway, because I've seen those little slices of chicken. They're disgusting looking. I like the meats, like the salami, whatever the 3 Italian meats are that they make that really good ass sandwich with. But yeah, that chicken does not look good.
No, so I'll next time I someone puts a gun to my head and I have to go to Subway, I guess I'll be catering towards the turkey or the ham or the salami or whatever.
Yeah.
MH says the Dead Chicken Head podcast. That's an interesting one. Well, chickens are somewhat still alive when, or at least they can be still alive. You cut their head off. Maybe that's a myth. Maybe that isn't. I'm not sure.
I'm
You
not
need
sure either.
Popeye's groom. I've only been to Popeye's once or twice.
I've only been once, and it was good. I like a little bit of the fat food that has that southern, whatever, that southern kick or
like the
spice or
Cajun
whatever
stuff.
it is. Yes, I love that Cajun stuff.
I'm gonna add on to that. So, as I said, I've only been to Popeyes kind of like once. Bojangles is another one you may or probably. I mean, you may have heard of it. Probably didn't have it because that's more of like
Never had it.
a southeastern type of thing.
Right.
But yeah, there's Wingstop is also another one that's kind of more of the north. Well, it can be south, but
It's
more
wings
of
and
the
things
east.
here.
Yeah, so it kind of differs. I mean, obviously, we don't have fucking In and Out on the east. Well, actually, I think we have In and Out in Florida, but um, well, anyway. Shouts to Tudo in the chat. Used to be fresh food. Subway used to be amazing. You like McDonald's or Burger King better?
McDonald's by a long shot.
I would take McDonald's. If it wasn't for the chicken, I'd probably go with the latter. But I used to, and I still rag on this. I just always felt that Burger King tried to up McDonald's in a way. Like they always tried to one up them. Like, when I was a kid, they used to sell the Crown chicken nuggets, if you remember
Yeah.
those.
Yep.
And then they expanded themselves to chicken nuggets, and then it's like chicken fries. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, man.
So Shake Shack's big in New York. Shake Shack's big. I remember. So this is kind of something we did. This was, I would say, leading up to the pandemic when I was in my junior year of high school. And me and my friend always used to go to downtown Brooklyn because obviously we're in technical. I can't say it's South Brooklyn, but I guess you call it that. And then we would take the train, take the day off of school. We would have to go attend something at the Brooklyn Navy Yard. It's kind of like a project or whatever once a month. And then we'd always stop by it's not Wingstop, Shake Shack afterwards and get the fries and the milkshake or whatever. So, also another burger place that's probably just, I mean, you see it a little bit in Florida, but mostly here is a BurgerFi.
Never heard of it.
They're like, I will give them this. Now, I'm not gonna sit here and always pander for like the fresh burgers, like the so-called fresh burgers, and like I know McDonald's and Burger King, that's not fresh burgers. Like let's be completely transparent with ourselves. But like the Five Guys, the BurgerFi, I will take BurgerFi over Five Guys because I think Five Guys is kind of vastly overrated.
I agree.
Because it's like they always throw the fucking fries in the bag rather than in the container.
The
So
worst thing about Five Guys is you get a bag and you have to hold it like it's a radioactive bag of waste because the grease touches anything and you got a stain.
see, the great minds think alike in that fashion. But
Yeah.
no, I'm just, it's never really been my
MH
thing. Like,
says transparency right here.
yeah, transparency. Like, yeah, transparent going through the fucking bag. But I'm not big as much as it kind of kills me in a way, even though I'm not necessarily like, oh my God, I gotta have fast food every week. I'm not for the idea of, well, not, I can't say I'm not for it, but I just never eat like those fresh burgers, like Five Guys, for instance, BurgerFi is another one. I take BurgerFi, as I said, once over Five Guys. No, I have never been to Ponderosa Buffet.
Never.
Never heard of it.
I will say it's a little bit different because I get the restaurant I work at, and it's nice being in management at a restaurant because you get to eat whenever you want. I get to have a nice Wagyu beef burger anytime I want. So I don't really go out for burgers that much.
So in terms of Wagyu beef, I've heard like different things about it. Is it truly better than a traditional hamburger, or
I think a little bit of it is placebo, but it does. It tastes a little bit. It tastes a little bit fresher because it's just the way that the cattle are treated. The way they're fed and processed and all that kind of stuff is supposedly
it's healthier,
better,
isn't it?
Yeah, it's healthier.
Okay. What is your favorite pizza place and favorite kind of pizza? So I don't know what Sox is because the West isn't necessarily known for that shit. New
Right.
York is, so I probably have to go either Lenny's or L&B Spumoni Gardens, which is actually Sicilian, which is square pizza over here in Brooklyn. And I know obviously Sox used to work at a pizzeria, which is actually
Started in Brooklyn.
Started in Brooklyn, so another connection. Which was Grimaldi's, and it is still pretty good damn pizza. Even though
That's
I've
my
been there in a
favorite
while.
pizza of all time.
Now, you did tell me that they used to transport the water, right?
So it's treated differently. So I don't know exactly what it is, but you might be able to tell because New Yorkers know all this shit about pizza. Apparently, the water is different with its pH and minerals and all that stuff. So we would have a little device that would filter the water to make it taste like New York water. That pizza is delicious. It really is.
I think, and someone tried telling me, oh, it's a myth about the water. I'm like, no, it's not. There's no such thing as like. Someone told me, oh yeah, it's the recipe. I'm like, really? Because like 100,000 different friggin' bagel, bread, and pizza recipes. Are they all really that good? No.
It's flour. It's like 6 ingredients: flour, water, oil, salt, sugar, yeast. Boom. You got dough.
And then you got to have the fresh mozzarella on it, depending on
Of course, but it's the water that makes it delicious. Yeah. I'll say the fast food pizza places have gone downhill. Now, Little Caesars has seemed to kind of keep its composure a little bit, but you Domino's, Papa John's, all these, they stink now. Absolutely stink.
Shouts to Justice Mess for sharing us out on Twitter. Appreciate it, man.
Appreciate that.
So I never really, until I would say 6th, 7th grade ish, never really got the experience of fast food pizza ish. I would
Okay.
just go to local places.
Yeah, that's a New
And
York. That's a good problem to have. That New York.
right,
It's a
but
we don't
I
have
was in
that.
northeastern Pennsylvania at the time, so there's
Okay.
that. But in like seventh grade, I tried Domino's for the first time, and I happened to like it. At the time, I was like, yeah, with the chicken on top, it's not bad, and whatever, and all that sort of stuff. Um, then I tried Papa John's. I think when we were up there or we were over here or something along those lines. Little Caesars Pizza, I was never a fan of, but no, I happen to trash all fast food pizza. At this stage in the game because like Little Caesars, I never liked. Domino's, nah, absolutely not. You can't get me to eat that shit.
No.
And
I used to work at Papa John's too. I was a delivery driver there, and I'll still take Little Caesars over that.
really, so you're not a fan of that.
No, it doesn't taste right. It does not taste good. I think Little Caesars keeps their pizza simple. That's why it's kind of bearable. They don't try to do too much to it.
It says, there you go. Transparency right here. Clean boy mentality. Janky burger with your large Pepsi shit. Well, I don't really know of like burgers and shit. I don't know if they sell burgers. Oh, they probably do sell burgers at Yankee Stand, but it's probably the frou type of
Yeah.
sweets and shit. Have you guys
The
ever tried the one
Petco
sheet
Park
challenge?
has. Excuse me, no, I haven't. The Petco Park has a lot of good burgers. They have I forgot
Really?
the name of it, but uh, um, it's like Mojo's Burgers or something like that, and everybody absolutely loves it. There's a Hodad's. I don't know if you know what Hodad's is.
Never heard of Hodad's.
Yeah, Hodad's Burger is huge at Petco Park. They have what is it? How do you say it? Gaglione? Gaglione? Never heard of
Uh,
that word?
Gagliano's.
Gaglione Brothers cheesesteaks?
Let's take a look at it. Gaglione Brothers.
Gaglione Brothers. That everybody freaks out about those as well. I've had that cheesesteak, pretty damn good.
I must say this, and I just thought of this because MH brought it up. He goes, "You're in Cali." I feel now. Obviously, this is not 100% on purpose. It's not on purpose at all, actually. So, my YouTube name is Big Lou in the Bronx, but I'm not from the Bronx. I only include the Bronx because, well, of course, I cover Yankees content. You're Sox, Arizona, but you live in California.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
this might be the new name of the misleading podcast, but it's all for fun,
I was in Arizona when the name started,
right?
so I gotta stay with it.
Yeah, you gotta stay with your home and all that. San Diego Sun, you're in Cali. Domino's has a soft spot in my heart. MH, if you live in New York, it really shouldn't have a soft spot in your heart, I must
True.
say, because you got all those pizza options and whatnot. Are you a big chips guy?
I look. It's not it might be a cold take, but I'm a Sun Chips kind of guy. The only thing I hate about Sun Chips is that the fucking bag makes so much noise.
When I was another childhood, I'll get to that in just a second, MH, because that's a very good question. When I was, as I said, going back to once again, because a lot of the shit that we're talking about is nostalgic in a way. When we used to have like the snacks we would get at lunch, that would obviously cost more. Well, at least it would be an add-on to, for
Right.
instance, the school lunches and whatnot. They wouldn't sell you outright Doritos or outright Lay's. They'd have Sun Chips, which I'm mad on Sun Chips. I won't eat them a lot at all. Well, actually, once in a while, I'll be fair. But they would
I
always
think it's
sell
because
the
you don't like
bake.
Subway because they always put Sun Chips at Subway, so I think that's why
They
you don't
do.
like them.
Let me see if I could pull this up. So this is what they wouldn't, as I mentioned. Now I'm stumbling and mumbling, but they would always sell these type of chips. They would never sell like the straight out Doritos, the straight out Tostitos or Fritos or any of that stuff. They would sell like the baked shit like this.
Right, you're right. That's another Subway thing.
Well, I mean, I'm talking school, but if did Subway
No,
actually like do
yeah,
this type of shit?
yeah. Subway would always have those like baked Doritos, baked
Ew.
Lay's, Sun Chips. They might have regular Lay's barbecue, but that's about it.
Yeah, going all the reasons the Subway sucks nowadays. When I was in high school, we had 2 vending machines, one for snacks and ice cream and one for drinks. I know in elementary school you couldn't drink soda, at least to my knowledge. Um, but now obviously it's free reign. And vending machines hard in high school we had like 3 or 4 in the lobby, at least my first year in high school. And then in elementary school they were very far and few between. There was one in next to the nurse's office, but it was always out of order. And I think that was full of Gatorade and soda and stuff like
I was
that.
gonna say we had a couple, but at least one never worked, so we didn't really spend time there.
Yeah. What is your favorite candy bar? Um,
Does this include chocolate? I mean, is chocolate included in candy?
I would have to assume it is.
Okay, yeah.
Well, I mean, Kit Kat's top of my list. Snickers is okay.
I love Snickers.
Like it's all right. I kind of got into it in my late junior high days. So
You ever had a Take 5?
no.
Caramel pretzel. Oh, delicious. What
That does
about a
not sound like
Mr.
my
Good
type.
bar?
Hmm.
What about a Mr. Good bar?
Nope.
What about a Crunch bar?
Crunch bar. I would always get them for like some sort of Halloween shit. Never would have it.
This is my top list. It goes Butterfinger, number 1.
Okay.
Number 2, Snickers. Number 3, Kit Kat. Number 4, Take 5. Number 5, there's no number 5.
There's no number 5. So you're that abstained from.
Babe Ruth is good. I do not like Milky Ways or anything with that nougat, whatever the fuck that is.
I'm not totally sure what you're talking about, but I'll agree with you.
That big, soft, fluffy shit that's in the chocolate bar.
What's it called?
Nougat, I think.
Oh, wait, nougat, I think. Yeah. So, is mixing nuts, fruit pieces, and sugar paste. Does that sound like it?
Kinda, yeah.
Okay, so yeah, I see what they're talking about here. I see what they're talking about. Let's see. You like the Randall in the 3-point contest? I mean, I don't know if he's a good 3-point shooter. I don't.
We're talking about Julius Randle?
Yeah, he's replacing somebody that just recently got injured.
Yeah, no,
So,
sorry.
What?
I don't think that's going to happen, buddy. First round exit.
We'll see what happens, of course. Yeah, the Reggie bars used to be popular in the 70s, obviously because of Reggie Jackson and whatnot.
Whatchamacallit, those are good.
I never had, must
Really?
say. For me, it's 4th of July and Thanksgiving.
Same, exactly.
4th of July, it's, pool, barbecue. Thanksgiving, it's eating and watching football, even if my team is not playing or losing. Yeah. At least most of the time, it's a guarantee that the Cowboys are going to lose. But, this past year wasn't necessarily in that favor. What did I do now, MH?
Might have been one of my takes, actually.
Did you guys ever get into WWE? My best friend's a big WWE fan. I've watched like 1 or 2 matches and like,
I will say I'm a big fan of the Pat McAfee show, and he was dabbling in the WWE, so I kind of started watching because of him, but not really.
Yeah, not necessarily a big fan. Not necessarily. But as you guys keep filtering in the questions, I guess we could start building our top 5 list of broadcasting teams, maybe even shorten it to top 3. Who knows? I think I'm gonna start my number 1. Who is my number 1 on the list?
I can give you my list as well as yours.
Okay, all right. I'm gonna put it down. I'll just do top 5 for shits and giggles. I'm gonna go ahead and start with Joe Buck and Tim McCarver. This is number 1 on my list. My knowledge.
I'm gonna go with. Kind of hard here. My number 1's going to be Collinsworth and Michaels.
Okay, it's a very good one. So I'll go put that one on Sox's list. All right. Jeffrey says he's been playing a test, so a beta version for MLB The Show 2023. Let us know how it goes, Jeffrey. I mean, probably gonna buy it again. Oh, that I know my friend has the PS5. I know you have the PS5, to my knowledge, as well.
Yeah.
I still haven't gotten it, by the way. I must say.
Hogwarts Legacy is out. I'm telling you, it's a blast.
Please let me know what that is,
dude. It's like free range Harry Potter. It's almost like GTA, but it's Harry Potter. So if you're a Harry Potter fan,
I
Hogwarts.
am absolutely not a Harry Potter fan.
Are you serious?
No, never. It was, to be fair, there's a lot of things that were shoved in my face as a child.
Okay.
From classmates a little bit. Harry Potter happened to be one of those things I'm like, no.
See, I absolutely loved it. I thought I was in the story when I was reading back in the day, and then movies and all that. And now the game, it's a blast. I'm surprised you're not a Harry Potter kid. That's kind of surprising to me.
To be honest, Sax, do I look like a Harry Potter kid?
I mean, I'm not gonna answer that question.
Come on, you know the answer to that one.
No, you kind of do, honestly. No, you kind of do, actually.
I do.
It seems like
Chat,
something you might have.
Please. Okay, you know what?
Put a poll.
That's what we're gonna do.
You already don't ask them a question you don't want the answer to.
Okay, all right. Does Alex look like he likes Harry? Though I will admit, I went to Universal last January, not this one. Last
Florida?
January. And I did ride the Harry Potter ride. It was actually pretty fun.
In Florida, right?
In Florida, yes.
Yeah, they have do they have a whole Harry Potter world and all that? Because they got that one out here.
I'm going to explain a little bit more. I just need to use the bathroom real quick. So if you want to monitor the chat, I've been drinking a lot of water. I'll be right back.
Yeah, sounds good. Water's the key to life here. Let's see. We got Booyah says, what are your top five baseball players all time and top five football players growing up? I'm sure Alex would love to talk about that when he gets back. The show is also on Xbox and Nintendo Switch. I saw that. Armand, my fiance, has a Switch. Obviously, I can't get her to download that. She's been playing Hogwarts Legacy, but yeah, it's cool that the show, expanded out just beyond PS5 because although it was nice to be like, haha, I got a PS5, PS4. I can only play the show. Harry Potter was mid, says MH. I'd like to know how old you were when that came out, MH. But for my generation or my age kids, it was gospel. Spider-Man was forced. That's how I feel about Spider-Man as well. Spider-Man was kind of forced upon me. I liked the first movie, but just there's so many movies now and games and all that. Not a Harry Potter fan either, says Armand. What's your favorite horror movie that scared you when you were a kid? Booyah. All I can think of is Signs. I was at a sleepover with a friend and we watched Signs. Absolutely scared the shit out of me. Obviously, it's one of my favorite movies now. It's honestly not that scary, but been watching The Last of Us. That's really cool. Yeah, I'd like to see what your thoughts are on the test for the show, Jeffrey, because I've been big on the show. I haven't really played this year that much, but it's crazy. You really are tall, but the single makes you look a lot shorter than Alex. Yeah, it's because I want to get all my background. You see up here the Giants gear and stuff. I could make it even. How's that? MH? They're telling me I look short.
Sox is not short. I've seen pictures. I'm going to be absolutely outsized, if that's a word.
Yeah.
Once we
can take some pictures at Fenway Park.
But let's look at the poll answers, shall we? Now why is there 4 votes that say yes? Come on.
I told you.
I don't. Thank you to the one person who voted no. Thank you to one person.
It's probably MH.
Whoever voted no, you gotta You got a gold star for me. I like this show. It's 23 better. It's a lot better than 22 in franchise mode. They have the new draft that I heard about. I don't know too much about though. I want. Have you now, Sox? I think you said you have the PS5. Have you ever been able to build your own stadium in that game?
Yeah, you can build your own ballpark. I think that was new this year. I think that was new this year.
Have you ever done it? I feel like that's been out for a couple of years now.
Okay, no, I think it was new either this year or last year. You're probably right, but it's just so much, and so I like playing with random people's uploaded parks because there's just some crazy shit on there, but it takes a long time and a lot of work to build a cool park.
I might have to, actually, no, I can't invest in that because I don't have a PS5, but I have a PS5 and did it in 22. Booyah Yank says, shouts to LI. What is going on, LI? Armand is the one who voted no, so appreciate it. But we got 6 votes. 5 of them still say
I'll be right back.
Gotcha. Created stadium was new last year. Yeah, I thought it was new last year, the year before. They've added, as I said, there's a couple of different things you could do on next gen consoles. Like you get next gen stats on Madden. If you got the PS5 or the Xbox One or the Xbox One X or whatever, have you met these goons in real life? Which goons are you talking about? So you talking about me and Sox? If so, we have not met in real life. If that's the one thing you're talking about, I really like it. Yeah, they're giving this Nintendo Switch a free test till Monday. Padres and Red Sox, yuck. It's crazy. You're really tall, but this angle makes you look shorter than Alex. No, Sox he's a pretty tall dude. It's a pretty tall dude. I could maybe pull up a picture see. I'm pretty sure it might be on his Twitter when he went to that Charger Giant game. But that might be a stretch. Let's see. Hold on. Let's see if I can find it. Hold on. Be patient. 1 second. I think we're getting there. Let's see. All right. 2 seconds. Okay, that game was in December. I think we got it right. Okay, so MH doesn't give the best channel. I like when you guys are live. Thank you, my man. Thank you. That means a lot. Man. You guys should get a PS5 different than PS4. Yeah, I know. Obviously, you get a lot of different things. The show has a Google Statcast. Yeah, also Madden next gen stats. Hot take: Mariners will win the 2023 World Series as the 4th seed. That's a hot take. I mean, you're usually full of them, but
I could see that.
All right. So if Sox doesn't mind, I have to kind of prove MH's point a little bit wrong.
All right.
I'm going to pull up. So this is how tall Sox is in real life. Pretty tall dude.
Yeah,
what's your height?
I'm almost 6'4". I think my bad posture makes me a little bit under 6'4", but if I stood up straight, I'd probably be there.
See? So just
how tall are you?
1 second. Oh, I'm like 5'6", 5'7". Yeah, I'm just looking at something from the chat. All right. So, guys, keep asking the questions. So, number 1 for me is Joe Buck and Tim McCarver. For you, it's Chris Collinsworth and Al Michaels. What's number 2?
Number 2 on my list is going to be Dave O'Brien and Jerry Remy.
All right. I'm surprised that Don Orsillo's not on that list.
Yeah, I mean, it was close. It was close, but top 5 of all time, it's got to be Dave O'Brien and Remy. Something about those guys I love.
All right, so now we're on. That's number 2 for you. Number 2 for me, I think I'm gonna go Al Michaels and Chris Collinsworth. Switch it up a little bit.
Nice, I like it.
Number 3
for me, gonna be Joe Buck and Troy Aikman.
You really like Troy Aikman that much?
I don't. Obviously, the Cowboys thing kind of throws it for a spin, but I don't mind. No, I love Troy Aikman. I don't know why people hate on Joe Buck or him.
I hate Troy Aikman.
I think he's knowledgeable. I think he's
I think he's a drunk.
he might be a drunk, but I still think he's a good broadcaster.
I don't, but we differ on that. Shasta 15 in the chat, by the way. I like playing at the old time parks. Yeah, when I do MLB the Show, like sometimes I'll do home run derbies with my friend. Sometimes we'll actually do the old Yankee Stadium if we can. If we can. I know online and offline could be very different in terms of that. Jeff says, what's up, fellas? Hope your night's going well. I got a few friends in St. Louis watching. R.I.P. Mr. McCarver. Yes, as we touched on earlier in the show, Jeff, Tim McCarver was a part of my life as a sports broadcasting assistant to Joe Buck, especially in the World Series and all those playoff games. If you guys like the Grinch, I dressed up as him last year for the kids. It's never been one of my favorite movies. Not really. I never seen like the animated version with Jim Carrey, but I think I did see when I was younger the cartoon version. It was old. But yeah, Yank says, I've never been to a baseball game or a football game. Well, gotta make that change for you.
I will say, just on that last point, I think Jim Carrey, that's one of his best roles is the Grinch, but I'm not a big Jim Carrey fan. I just got to throw that out there.
I mean, I've never seen a ton of I haven't seen a ton of his movies. Like there's, that movie, there's Dumb and Dumber, there's Mr. Popper's Penguins, just some shit that I that's off the top of my head. So I can't make a verdict on him. Will the Padres trade Tatis at the deadline or in the offseason? I think they might.
It's more likely in the offseason, probably.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I would tend to agree with that. Yeah, I also got to meet Li. You're like 5'8", I'm 5'10". You're a bit shorter than me. Yep, I do remember. No, Pete, I am not. Shouts to NYY News CVP. Goes, damn, Alex is a big Harry Potter fan. You learn something new every day. Pete, that's not actually what it is. Sox sitting here lying to the rest of
It's
chat.
true, guys.
Because
don't let them fool you.
Because Sox brought up something along the lines of Harry Potter, or whatever it was, and then
it was the video game.
It was a video game we were talking about. And I'm just like, I never got into Harry Potter because I'm going to shove it in my face when I was a kid. And then for some reason, Sox says, you look like a kid that likes Harry Potter. So okay, let's have the chat judge that.
He does.
Apparently, I'm a Harry Potter fan, even though I'm not. So
also, someone said that Spider-Man was one of those. Who was it that said Spider-Man was one of those forced ones? And I feel the same way about Spider-Man. I don't like him because he was forced on me.
I'm going to be completely transparent.
As always.
Yes, as always, we are. I never got into the whole comics thing, the whole superhero thing.
Same here. I have a weird appreciation for it now that I'm a little bit older, but I did not like that kind of stuff when I was growing up. I thought it was all forced on me.
It's like when I was 6, 7 years old, my big thing was kind of like Transformers. It's never superheroes, though.
Okay. I never got into Transformers either, but the movies were cool, I guess.
Yeah. I would never have the money to go or anyone to go with. Well, Yankee. I mean, I don't know where you live, Booyah, but like some Yankee games could be cheap. So, I mean, if you're in the area, like the Orioles games, the Rays games, it's a fun experience. It's a cool experience. I loved Harry Potter as a kid, but I didn't keep it through my teenage years, but I kept Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yu-Gi-Oh! You never heard of Yu-Gi-Oh?
No. So hence the lack of pronunciation.
No way. See, I didn't like Yu-Gi-Oh! Either. It was kind of like Pokemon. I don't know how you felt about Pokemon, but either of those things, I never got into it, man.
I mean, I also never got into Pokemon Go when it was in its prime.
I played it for like 2 weeks, but it was causing people to. You remember it was causing people to drive off cliffs and shit and walk into poles.
I don't remember that, but I feel like that's typical America kind of type thing.
Yeah.
Booyah says, I'm in New York. Well, we got to get you to a Yankee game of some sort.
Yeah,
so
man.
Maybe for shits and giggles, I will let you know when the Yankees play the Orioles or something like that, and let you know on cheap tickets and whatnot, because we want everybody to get the game experience. Thoughts on this?
I'll say that's an L.
It's an L take.
I think that's an L take, but it's close. They're in the very same ballpark as in my eyes, at least.
All right. So for number 3, to continue a little bit, I'm going to go with Iron Eagle and Dan Fouts. We got 4 and 5 to fill as the chat gives us some questions and creative stuff to talk about. 4 and 5.
I'm going to go to the NBA world for both 4 and 5 as a little sneak peek.
Okay.
I'm going to go with, and these are guys that just had a big impact on me. Like I said, I wanted to be a sports broadcaster. So I'm going to go with Mike Tirico and Hubie Brown.
Okay.
Those are one of the guys that might not bring the energy that you might expect from an NBA game, but they will break down X's and O's like you've never seen. Roster knowledge, history of the game. I think Hubie Brown, before he got a little bit too old, was bringing a lot of low-key energy. I think he might have gone a little bit longer than he needed to, but those guys are going to be in my number 4 for sure.
Now, let me ask you another question, because I know Knicks fans hate him. What do you think of Reggie Miller?
I am a fan of Reggie Miller. I think he is a dog, and I think the whole thing with him and Spike Lee going back, he's a baller. For the longest time, he's the greatest shooter of all time. I know Knicks don't like him, but yeah, I like Reggie Miller.
I say 5th.
I say hopefully not 5th, but I'll say 3rd just to be optimistic.
I'm thinking it was given. The suggestion was given to me a few weeks ago. Thinking of doing some sort of a roundtable AL East in March. I think that would be a very good thing for Dead Red content, especially leading up to the season. And Angry John actually has offered to me about joining us for our prediction show, which I have to go and surf for last year because I don't remember. I don't have my index card with me, even though I wrote on it. So there's that. Benji, I think, if that's how I pronounce it correctly. Who should the Yankees go after? We don't have 2 starters already. Yeah, that's somewhat of the Yankees' own fault for the WBC thing and Frankie Montas. I don't know what starters are on the market. That's the problem. Like, Trevor Bauer hasn't pitched in 2 years. They let Pablo Lopez go in terms of letting him go to another team. So I need to see who, like, the pitchers that are on the market, whoever's out there and stuff like that. So
I don't think Trevor Bauer would want to pitch for the Yankees.
Garrett Cole and him have a very bad blood thing going on. So.
Okay. See, I don't even think I knew that. So
I think it goes back to all the way UCLA, which is like fucking 10.
Oh, maybe I did hear about that. Okay, I see.
Mike Minor and Dylan Bundy and Garrett Richards. Those are not really good names. Bundy, I think, had a solid season last year, but
yeah.
Jeffrey says, "Did you see the Red Sox closer's not going to the World Baseball Classic? He's staying back in Florida."
I did not see that.
I got to pull up the WBC roster, but Michael Pineda, no, I would no for Michael Pineda. Yeah. Pitched with the Yankees, had his tenure. Goodbye. No, absolutely not. Who do you like for a basketball player like Kobe Bryant when he was around? I don't know if I can make that decision yet because I haven't been much in the basketball realm. Obviously, you've been a fan longer than I have.
What as in terms of what? What do you like for a basketball player? I like Kobe. Just in terms in general.
He means like I think he just means a basketball player. Like, who's your favorite basketball player?
Rajon Rondo.
Okay, all right. Jeff says, will Bader be in the starting lineup for the Yankees this year? That is correct. He probably will be the starting center fielder, for being completely honest with ourselves. So, shout out to Anthony Medina. What's going on, looking forward to meeting you once again on the 1st of April for NYY News TV Day. Let's see. Chris Archer. Yeah, I wouldn't go after Chris Archer. He is past his prime.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's not a pitcher I would pick up. I mean, there's a couple of guys you could maybe say, okay, well, maybe they'll be better with the Yankees, but I could see Judge playing center sometimes. Yeah, I could see Judge playing center sometimes.
Yeah, I could see that. Didn't he already play there a few times?
Yeah, he played a couple of games. That was when I forget what the situation was, but yeah, he played center a couple of times. The problem with him in center is just that his legs wear and tear because you need range to play center field. I think fifth, Booyah. I think fifth for the Red Sox in the East. My personal opinion.
Early prediction is going to be 4 for me, realistically.
So you think there's one team that goes down, and that's the Orioles. You think that?
Yeah.
Okay, not bad, not bad.
I think I called it earlier that this year was a fluke for them.
Real, I think you may have said that.
Yeah,
you may have said that. Where did you see Michael Jordan? Did you see Michael? No, I didn't see that, but a very good donation, if so, by the GOAT himself. Now let me ask you a question. Before we move on to all this, actually, thank you, Jeff. You just read my mind. Is your GOAT LeBron or is it MJ?
Oh my God, I have no idea. I really don't. I legitimately keep going back and forth. I really do think LeBron James is the most powerful scorer that the game has ever seen. I think he's one of the greatest defenders the game has ever seen. He's probably my GOAT, to be honest with you.
Okay. All right. Just wanted to get that from a basketball fan. And
what about you?
So obviously it's always lived in my head before I started getting into basketball a little bit more that, Michael Jordan was the proclaimed GOAT. But at the same time, like I've seen LeBron James the last few years, and he has not lost a single step. He really hasn't.
No, he hasn't.
Breaking Kareem's all-time record, which I was watching that game. Kareem was fucking pissed. He was fucking pissed.
Yep.
He's a miserable motherfucker. Like he was, good in his heyday. Miserable motherfucker though.
Yeah, he's sad.
I think he's miserable. I think there's a difference between being sad and miserable. Maybe he's like miserably sad. The two words. Benji says, are the Red Sox going to lock up Alex Verdugo?
Yeah, you got to, man. I think it's proven that they're trying to go with that young talent with Raffy. So taking somebody like him from the Dodgers, I think you got to lock him up.
Jeff says, I think it's so obvious LeBron is great, but not the GOAT. Sorry. As I said, I didn't really watch Jordan in his heyday. I wasn't alive.
I think LeBron would have adapted in that game. Like they try to say it's two different games. I think LeBron would adapt in that game better than Michael would in this one.
Well, I'm trying to gather in my head what the philosophies are, because I'm pretty sure this day and age in NBA it's all about offense, kind of like it is NFL.
Right.
So I mean, was it just more defense oriented back in the day? I'm just trying to get a history lesson of some sort.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was tougher. I think the defense was tougher, and the officiating is a huge play in that as well. Like they would just let everything go back then. So people like to say LeBron likes to cry and he's soft and all that, but he's really not. He's the most powerful player I've ever seen in my life, and I've seen him play in person multiple times.
Where is Gary Sanchez going? Hopefully not to the Yankees, because he was. I know the Red Sox have been connected to him, but
yeah, that's not. I don't think that's going to happen. But
no,
I heard that.
You got like 2 to 3 different catchers right now, so
right.
I think the Red Sox may be a little bit better than the Rays. I don't think so. The Rays they're always that sneaky. They're kind of like can't really compare them because the Rays. There's not really a comparison. There's no other team. But they always find their way to sneak up.
They're
Steph
good.
Curry is good as LeBron. Benji says.
No.
I don't think so either.
Like right now, he probably is, but if we're talking career, I don't think so.
No, I have to. Now, obviously, Steph is probably one of the best 3-point shooters of all time, but
yeah.
Rays didn't really do anything this offseason. Well, sometimes they really don't because they rely on that Moneyball theory type of crap, and it works for them because they get third, second place every year. How many starts will Sale pitch? Is he even fully healthy?
No, we don't even know if he's going to be ready to go.
What about our old buddy, nemesis, James Paxton?
James Paxton is supposed to be ready to go.
Padres will sign Gary to a minor league deal because they're signing everybody. That's possible. He could also go to a bum team and shine there.
Right.
I mean, that's kind of, Gary really couldn't put anything up later years in New York, but obviously it's a whole different story because he came to spring training. Sale I meant. I guess we got to finish up, obviously, this one first. All right. So I went Joe Buck, Tim McCarver, Chris Collinsworth, Al Michaels, Ian Eagle, Dan Fouts. Do I rank Mike Breen or Kevin Burkhardt, or do I put Michael K in there? That's kind of my thing, because Michael K has always been. I might have to put the arrogance aside, I must say. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna bite the bullet and say Michael K. The Yes Network going my number 4. Kind of a reluctant, but if I have to be unbiased and take away the fact that he has a program. Clyde is definitely Clyde is great, Jetson. Yes.
You gave your 5, right?
We're both on our number 5.
Okay, we're both on our number 5. I'm gonna go with, and I'm gonna take back what I said about going to the NBA for number 5. It was close. I think Kevin Harlan and Reggie Miller have to be a close, they got to be in the conversation at least. I know Knicks fans don't like him. John Madden and Pat Summerall.
Wow. Okay. All right. I never lived to see them call games.
Right.
But I know that's like one of the most elite broadcasting teams of all time.
Pat Summerall and he gets the credit he deserves, I feel like. And so does John Madden. I mean, I feel like they should be higher on my list. I think they should be above Buck and Aikman, honestly.
Well, they're probably better knowing that.
Yeah.
What about Richard Jefferson? My brother tells me he's a Knicks hater, but I don't know. I know he does national games. He also does Yes games with the Nets.
I think he's good when he's on games. I don't like him off like on all the shows that he's on. I think he just
you mean the analyzing and the post games and all that?
Yeah. I think he's just kind of a media shit stir when he's on the mic off of the court, but when he calls games, he's good.
But what does media shit stir mean?
Media shit stir, like a stir.
Oh, like he stirs the pot.
Yeah, he stirs the pot.
Okay, I was about to say like a media shit stir. Like what? That's that might have to be a bingo word.
That might be a shit stir.
Yeah,
that's a
media
good
shit stir. So
good insult.
Number 5. All right, I got to battle with my inner self: Mike Breen, Clyde Frazier, or Kevin Burkhardt. Shit. I haven't been watching Breen and Frazier for that long, but I'm gonna take them at number 5, very slightly though. Very slightly for that. What about Cameron Maybin? He got kicked off the Yes Network. Not a fan of Maybin's analyzing. I must say that. Not a fan. Beltran, not a fan of his analyzing as well. I just think they're 2 very good ball players. None of them are Hall of Famers, but at the same time, they're just some people don't have the voice, and that kind of applied to both of them.
That's fair.
Did you guys like the Tarasenko trade? Wish Benner would have been gone with him. He's just clubhouse cancer. Be gone. He's of course talking about the New York Rangers. From what I hear, and as I said, I'm not much of a hockey fan. I'm trying to get more into it, but I believe the Tarasenko trade was good because I think that actually, kind of suited what the Rangers needed at the deadline. And the deadline is a month away from what I hear, so they still got time to improve. What about Steve? I think you mean Steve Jelbs. I'm not sure. Wouldn't be in my top 5 though. Wouldn't be in my top 5. But I think I'm gonna kick it. And obviously you guys keep filtering your questions and whatnot. Pat and John were simply the best, like peanut butter and jelly. And college has to be Keith Jackson. He's college football to me, especially growing up.
Nice.
Very nice comment there, Jeff. I haven't been able.
I didn't watch Keith Jackson. I'm not familiar with him.
I'm not familiar with Keith Jackson either. That's kind of what I meant to, get out of my mouth there. But SNY, yeah, I heard about Jelbs. I just haven't necessarily, if he called any games, heard of it. So I guess we could start filtering in our spring training preview, and I'm using the same 4 prompts from Monday's show, but obviously, will he sign or is he just a rental? I would assume if he plays good enough to lock Tarasenko up, but we'll see. But 4 prompts, 4 questions going into spring training. Obviously, next week we don't have spring training until the weekend, but you know what? That's a good question. I'm going to look up the first spring training game for next week. I would assume Thursday or Friday. So it is Friday. It's Kansas City, Texas, and Seattle and San Diego, which hopefully they'll have on MLB Network because I am pumped to kind of see baseball back. And then the next day, the Sox actually start. So do the Yankees. They're both away, one against Atlanta and one against Philly. Let's see. Profar and Ben Gamel are out there. Profar, I mean, he wants north of $7 million, but, the Yanks are paying Hicks. So, we'll see what that situation comes to be. But Sox, I'll ask you the first question. Players that need a big spring training for the Sox.
Yeah, what jumps out to me is Connor Wong. He's versatile. He played second base earlier in his career. I think Brian Bayo needs a big spring. The righty Brazier and Cutter Crawfords jump out to me right away. The whole pitching staff, it's going to be a lot of new additions. I don't know if Nick Pivetta is going to pitch in spring. I'd like to see him. We just signed Yu Chang today or yesterday, I believe. Bobby Dahlbeck is the king of spring. He's going to have a big spring training. And then I want to see what Christian Arroyo does as well. I like the versatility that Arroyo brings. He's probably going to be our starting second baseman this year. So we'll see what he can do with the bat.
All right. Booyah says, do you like Michael Kay as an announcer? Yes. As a show host, which he will be retiring this year. No. Kiki should show that he could play second, Benji says, but he's, as you said, he's going to be moving over to shortstop of the injury to
what's Story?
Trevor Story. Jeff says, who's your college baseball team and who do you follow? Well, I follow Notre Dame for college baseball. They're probably like a college team in that sense. I also follow them for college basketball, though I'm not like big into it. And I also keep track of them. But yeah, so college baseball will probably be going to Notre Dame for me.
I would say probably just the 2 major Arizona colleges I follow probably for baseball more. I'm more of a Ohio State Buckeyes fan. I don't follow their baseball team. So, ASU and U of A probably.
Okay, Benji says he meant shortstop. I believe Red Sox will play next Saturday against Minnesota, but they do have a game Friday against Northeastern.
Right. They always play. They always play one college game. Yeah.
You ever, it's so funny to me, and it's so sad in a way because a few years ago, I don't know if anyone remembers this, but when the Phillies had Jeremy Hellickson, I don't know if you remember that pitcher. He was a big Rays starter. You don't remember Jeremy Hellickson?
I don't think so.
Wow, I'm kind of shocked at that, but he was a big pitcher for the Rays, back in 2011. But he started getting out of his prime a little bit, went to the Phillies. And they lost to a college team in spring training, a Division III baseball team, if anyone remembers that. And it's so kind of, why do I say it's sad in a way? Not the fact they just lost to a college team, but the people I grew up with were obviously big Eagle fans. Yeah, Eagles, Penn State. But they were never big Philly fans, so you couldn't talk shit to them. They wouldn't know what you're talking about. So,
right. Okay.
Where's Justin Turner playing, Benji asks.
Third base. I mean, he's going to be sprinkled in when Raffy plays DH. I don't think he's going to start for us, honestly.
All right. Let's see. I remember Jeremy. Let's see. Which is the prospects are going to be a top conversation, in terms of this whole prompt here. But this coming Saturday, Jeff, Jeffrey, they play Atlanta, meaning Boston. But actually, no, that's where am I? Yeah, so Saturday. And then I think the following Saturday, let's see, Boston plays Houston. But they'll probably sprinkle in. I kind of hate what they did, and this is kind of off of the COVID thing, but they kind of use COVID as an excuse. At least I think they still do this. The Yankees, for instance, they will only play a select amount of teams in spring training. Like, what do you think of that? It's quote unquote saving funds and shit.
I mean, that's bullshit. I'll just say that.
Right. Who do you like for college football? I like Syracuse Orange. Sox is a Buckeyes fan, and I am a Notre Dame fan. So,
Yeah.
but players that need a big spring training for the Yankees, I'd probably say Gleyber Torres does, because there's a lock jam in the infield. I think IKF needs big spring training. I think Josh Donaldson does because, as I said, the infield is log jammed. Anthony Volpe, to an extent, last year he wasn't necessarily watched as being close. Now he's watched as being close. Infield is just log jammed, and I think players that need a big spring also as well. Some of the backup outfielders, Everson Pereira. Let's see, besides him, not really Jason Dominguez because he has time. Willie Calhoun's another guy, Rafael Ortega, guys that could really fill the backup roles in the outfield. As far as pitching goes, I think Clark Schmidt will also need to have a big spring training because he could possibly be the 4th or 5th starter now that, some guys are injured on the team. And Davy Garcia as well. Make a last hitch effort. Sox positional battles heading into spring training.
Yeah, I mean, there's a few. There, you could say it's Turner and Devers at third. We know who's going to start. I think the outfield is a huge question, as well as the middle infield backup roles. I think it's important to know that Connor Wong played really good second base in high school and college and in the minors. I think Rob Refsnyder is going to be huge to step up in that backup role. He's probably going to be more of an outfielder, but you can sprinkle him in there in spring training as well. And then Jaron Duran, who's getting used to that center fielder role, who he had a lot of errors, not great play out there last year, but he could play backup second base as well. So, I think the middle infield is the biggest conversation there for position battles.
All right. Jeff says, crazy story. I took batting practice in the cages down in Miami. Hit with Jose Canseco and his brother. They were Miami Hurricane junkies. What a memory. Wow. So Jeff with another solid memory. He actually follows me on Twitter. Jose Canseco.
Nice.
So there's
that.
Nice. I think there's a few notable people that follow me on Twitter. I think I don't know if you remember him, former Giants tight end Scott Simonson. He's another one who follows me.
Nice.
A few other guys as well. Irvin Santana, I believe, follows me.
Nice.
I think I know he follows my brother's account. Just make sure. No, so he doesn't follow me. Cool. He follows my brother's account though. But I have a funny story about Irvin Santana. But go ahead.
No, I was going to say. I just said that's cool that he follows you.
So well, he doesn't follow me. He follows my brother's account. Now that I just checked it. But Irvin Santana was the pitcher for the Angels at my first ever Yankee game. And we won 11-5 that game. So just little fun facts.
Okay, nice.
There. Alex, you think IKF takes over third base, or does he be the utility guy the Yankees signed him for? I will definitely get to that because positional battles kind of involves that. Estevan Florial is staying and play the outfield in the spring. Right now, if his starter is Gil Herman, Sox's story definitely out for the year.
No, he should be back May, June. Optimistically, obviously, if everything goes well, he'll be back in May.
Gil is hurt still. Like to see Spencer Jones next year. He's good. And Volpe this year, I hope Clark Schmidt will get a look, and Herman. So positional battles, back end of the rotation is definitely there. Clark Schmidt, Domingo Herman, Luis Gil. Gil is coming off surgery, though. He's coming off a season-ending injury, and I really liked Gil coming into, last year. But the Yankees mismanaged him a little bit, going up and down, and then he gets hurt. So there's that. But I don't think he'll have too much pressure on him to produce. But at the end of the day, you have that. So that's really between Herman, maybe Davy Garcia, who was a failed starter a few years ago, and Domingo Herman. Some of the infield spots really as well. I mean, they project Gleyber Torres to be starting second baseman, which I'm not totally happy about because LeMahieu, you signed him, $15, $16 million a year. That's not necessarily bench money. Shortstop, I think, still is a battle. The Yanks might go IKF. They might go Peraza. I think it's Peraza's position to lose. And third base, I don't think it's a battle for unless somebody gets traded, unless Donaldson gets traded, but I don't see that happening. As far as there was a question about IKF I have to respond to, I think he does play the utility role. I do think he plays the utility role for the Yankees. LeMahieu has to be healthy. Do you think Loaiza is going to be a starter? No, he's going to be a back end of the game reliever. I don't think he wasn't necessarily good as a starter. Irvin Santana follows me as well. My thing is Jones. Where do we put him? DH is covered. Right field maybe goes to left field in terms of Spencer Jones. Yeah, I mean he could be like a long-term left fielder. I mean the Yanks have to decide, how far Spencer Jones is from the major leagues, because maybe you convert it, because it's another log jam in the system with the outfield as well. I mean Jason Dominguez is outfielder. He's going to be here in 2 years, kind of thing. Are you paying Harrison Bader for center field? Or are you going to keep Oswaldo Cabrera in left? Couple of different questions to answer, of course. I want to see if I got any more. Is Stanton to play the outfield in spring training? I would hope not. I'm kind of teetering my opinion a little bit, because not that I want to teeter my opinion, because I've always been the advocate of Stanton playing the outfield, but in this case, because of injury, just sit him and leave him DH. Could Ortega and Calhoun be on this team? One of them will, in my opinion. I think Rafael Ortega has the most experience, and I think he's definitely got a shot to replace Tim LeCastro. Shouts to Angry John in the chat. Sup, my guys? Can't wait for baseball season and spring training nears. Alex,
Yes,
you
sir.
definitely look like Harry Potter. Well,
Yeah.
I don't look like Harry Potter. I think the question
kind of do though
is no, I do not. And I'm very, very, very weirded out by the chat right now, because there's 15 votes in for does Alex look like he likes Harry Potter, and 80% say yes. So you guys are all wrong.
I called it.
Unbelievable. Who will play left field? Is he on the team, or do you think they'll sign a guy to make a trade? I think he's on the team. I think it's Hicks, Cabrera, or one of those other guys they platoon in. I don't think they're going out and signing a left field. I think they may go out and get a starting pitcher. Hopefully not Carlos Carrasco, like everybody's been saying, according to Pat Regazzo. But no, I think the left fielders right now in the organization. Could Wells make this team over Ben Rohrvedt? No. I think Wells starts in either Double-A or Triple-A. I think he's got ways to go a little bit. I think Rohrvedt, this is his spring training to kind of make a last effort at a backup catcher, because he's got defensive upside over Kyle Higashioka. We have a lot of log jams: Sweeney, Jones, Dominguez, Volpe, Wells. Too many decisions to make. Trey Sweeney's another one. Andre Chaparro, Randy Vasquez. There's a couple other guys that, log jams. Rookie salary is high, isn't it? Or is he a free agent? Let me know what you're talking about there. What's the most impressive college football stadium you ever visited? Mine was the Big House, just the layout, and 15K fans. 80 is incredible. I've never been to a college football stadium, and that's something I need to fix.
Yeah, I mean, I've been to Northern Arizona University, not a huge school. That dome is really cool. I've been to Tempe and ASU's college football stadium. That place is awesome. I've seen Horseshoe in Columbus. I've never been inside of it, but you can really see it, a lot of it from driving by. That's about it. But I think I'd like to see Penn State. I'd like to see the Big House. Those Big Ten schools really know what's up.
Penn State, and my best friend went to Pittsburgh in last September. He said Penn State, the Nittany Lion Stadium, is really big.
Yeah, and their fans are fucking crazy.
I know a lot of people that go to Penn State, but that doesn't mean that I like the team, because I don't. I think Penn State fans could be rowdy. Big Ten fans are like that. I mean, Ohio State fans, what was it? Michigan. They got pissed when Michigan. So the Big Ten really has some interesting fan bases. Michigan, Iowa, Iowa is not really bad in that factor. So you got them, you got Michigan, you got Buckeyes, you got Penn State. Michigan State is another one. So what got you watching football and baseball? So my brother kind of slowly introduced me in second and third grade to baseball. And then I started gaining a love for football around 7th and 8th grade. So
I got into football because my dad was a big Browns fan, and I wasn't about to root on the fucking Browns. So I became a Giants fan, and then my baseball it kind of stemmed from there, just watching sports in general.
What was the first sport you got into?
It was either football or basketball. I was a big Celtics fan when I was really young. I can't really remember, though.
John says, Angry John, Alex, I insist you take Carrasco from my team. No need to give anything back. Just take him. Absolutely not, John. Not taking a washed pitcher. Who is in the WBC playing for the Boston Red Sox?
I was about to say Xander. That breaks my heart. There's a pitcher. I don't know.
Let's see if I can look it up. So,
I think
Jeffrey was referring to Kenley Jansen.
I know Verdugo's playing for Mexico.
Devers, it says.
Devers.
Let me mute this tab before it blows up on me. Puerto Rico. Kadane Rafaela, actually,
yes.
it was expected to play, but he won't participate.
Okay.
Jaron Duran for Mexico.
Yes.
Norwith Gudino for Venezuela. Nick Pivetta for Canada. Jorge Alfaro and Rio Gomez for Colombia. Richard Blyer, former Yankee, for Israel. Masataka Yoshida for Japan. Obviously, Kenley Jansen said he was going to sit out. Let's see, what else? I think there's another Edwin Diaz not named the pitcher that's going to be playing in the World Baseball Classic. And yeah, we listed all of them. So there's a couple of names. No Yankees will be participating. I think Sox popped out for a second. Let's see. Alex, that quote from Regazzo where they talked about in December, the Mets took him off the market after they didn't get Correa. I did not know that. Thank you for informing me. But Regazzo, I mean, I feel like that was just recent. So there's that. Did either of you play high school football? I didn't. I've never played, and I've remarked this on my channel multiple times. I've never played high school football. Never played any type of football. Now, obviously, for fun, yes, but nothing professional with coaching and shit. That's right. Higgy is playing for Team USA, but he's a backup catcher, so nobody's going to really care about that. Let's see. What else? Sox is just fixing his headphones. Yeah, Jeffrey, prayers out to all that are injured and all that sort of stuff. David Ortiz in the Hall of Fame. Do you do steroids? Guess we'll never know. Yeah, I mean, we'll never know on that aspect, Jeff.
No, he didn't.
Sox will say he didn't, but in my opinion, there's like him and Piazza get in easy, but of course Bonds and all those other guys who had impact on the sports more, they don't get in. But that's no. Yeah, and Jeff, yes, I will try to go one day to one of the college stadiums, and all that sort of stuff. But let's see it. What else? Positional battles we talked about. Sox, if you are if you're able to hear us and all that sort of stuff, top prospect to watch coming in.
Yeah, I can hear you. It keeps going in and out. I don't know what's going on with my Bluetooth headphones. While I have you, I will answer this. I'm interested in a few guys, Marcelo Meyer being one of them. I like Tristan Casas a lot. You mentioned Rafaela. I'm excited to see him, especially with his background at shortstop. I'd like to see, if he can step up in that role. And then as far as pitching, I want to see what Brian Mata can do. Those are a few guys that I think have a good chance of making this roster if they play well in spring.
All right. So a couple of prospects to watch for me. Obviously Anthony Volpe's on that list because of the shortstop and second base versatility he can have. And also he's the number one prospect in the organization. Jason Dominguez for me a little bit. I'm not too attached to him like everybody else is in that matter. Alongside that, I'd probably say Everson Pierre because he gets injured a lot, but solid outfielder. His K rate is a little higher than most anticipate. Let's see who else is on that list. Andre Chaparro, he's a guy that Yankee fans really don't talk about. He is a third base prospect. He's really solid, though. If you guys watched my latest video about 5 things I'm looking for going in spring training, I mentioned a lot about Chaparro. I mentioned a lot about some of the other cats. Let's see. Chaparro, I mentioned. Vasquez, I mentioned. Pierre, I mentioned. And Elijah Dunham as well. Won some awards last year in Double-A. Looking forward to watch him. Jacob has a good point about Trey Sweeney. Good point there. Sox is just fixing his earbuds and stuff like that. Did you see the Dodgers cheated in 2018 World Series? No, I did not see that. I feel like I heard rumors about that, just never really confirmed it. Let's see. Well, I think I'm going to answer a little bit of a question from John, even though we're going to get Sox back very soon. In terms of that, I think Cassis is like near ready. I think they're going to put him at first base. Because they cut Hosmer. They cut Hosmer and all that sort of stuff. So let's see. What else is that public info? Never really knew he tested positive because obviously Benji's saying that David Ortiz failed 4 steroid tests. A good question by Booyah I got to get to. But yeah, cheated how is a good question. Let's see. Oh, yeah, this is the question from Angry John.
I don't know if you can hear me. You got me? I can't hear you, but okay. Sox, how long are these how are these kids like Mayer and Cassis anyways, in your opinion, from being ready? I think Cassis is more ready than Marcelo, but the first base is a big question with Bobby Dahlbeck because if he takes off, it's gonna be his show at first, but it's really anybody that's up for grabs who wants it more,
I don't know if the Dodgers did the same as the Astros, Benji. I'd probably have to look it up, but what do you think of Spencer Jones and Roderick Arias? I don't know much about Arias. I think he's the shortstop, one of the infielders in this organization. So I'd have to take a bigger look at him. I don't think he's in spring training as of right now. Spencer Jones, he's projected to be really good at the major leagues. I think he can be better maybe than Dominguez because there's a lot of flaws that a lot of people don't see. They look at the superstar power he can have. At the same time, just might not be there because of all the flaws. Like, he's a little underdeveloped in certain areas. The article was from a few days ago, but he didn't say in the article that they've been talking. He probably just made an article about it. Based on the Montas injury and trade, might make sense. There was no sources that they are talking. We'll see what happens. What do you think of Alex Rodriguez when he would play? I know obviously everybody in Sox hates Alex Rodriguez, by the way. We have a little bet on that, which I'll detail you guys on in a little bit. But in terms of Alex Rodriguez, man, he shares my name. I didn't like when he did the whole steroid shit, but he is one of the better ball players of, I would say the past 25 to 30 years without the steroids. People forgot that he was one of the best shortstops of his time before he switched over. Was never really a fan of Nomar Garcia Parra. Obviously, I got to watch him a little bit, but that would be more for Sox and whatnot. Sox is obviously having some issues, but we'll get him back in. Forget about Aroyd, but yeah, he's still a great player. You hear me, right?
I can hear you. Thank God.
Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
Yes, let's go.
Forget about Aroyd, but yeah, he's still a great player. Sox, your thoughts on this since you're a Sox fan?
Just Nomar in general?
Yeah, Nomar.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big Nomar guy. I think he doesn't get enough love. I think Red Sox fans are the only one that gives Nomar love.
Yeah, I will say that. I will agree. Maybe not as Aaron Judge, but I think he could be a pretty good ball player. Alex and Sox, what's your opinion on Jeter going to the Fox broadcast? Well, he's not going to be a part of the Fox broadcast booth, but he'll be a part of David Ortiz and Alex Rodriguez and all this sort of stuff. But
I think he should replace Alex Rodriguez. I think that'd be the perfect move.
I don't know if Alex Rodriguez has the voice to be a color commentator like he was with Matt Vasgersian, but I think he's pretty solid. I think that's good for Fox. I don't necessarily envision it as good for Jeter in a way because I feel like Jeter could be a front office type of guy, though he gets a lot of bad rap from the Miami days.
Yeah.
In addition to that, I think it's pretty interesting that the Yankees didn't hire him.
True.
Because they just let go of Beltran. They just let go of Cameron Maben. They had Vegas. That would have been a home run for the Yankees in a sense. Like I still would have somewhat criticized it, but hey, Judge should play left field. Leave him in right. Right field's shorter anyway, especially Yankee Stadium. It works with his arm, his range. Alex didn't even do steroids. Don't think he'll get in the Hall of Fame. Hopefully he does, because we already know the Hall of Fame is a sham. But let's see. A lot of people forget about the Dodger days with Nomar. Yeah, Nomar was a Dodger. I do remember that. That's interesting because Jeter and A-Rod did not have the best relationship with each other if they were to work with each other. Yeah.
I think they're probably
they seem like honestly friends now.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. They seem like they're past it now.
Yeah. What about Lou Piniella? Lou Piniella, now, as a player, obviously I didn't watch a lot of him because I was like the 70s, but he was one of the more fiery, probably the most fiery manager of all time
Yeah.
outside of Earl Weaver and his rants, his throw in the hat. He was a
Yeah.
pretty good broadcaster for the Yankees, but he's no longer part of the team, which is pretty sad, honestly. But I mean, sometimes you got to move on. Nomar drove me nuts with his little habits, probably why I didn't like him. Little habits, interesting.
I think he had a little. He had some strange. What would you call it? Mannerisms, but yeah.
The rituals.
It kind of like Raffy Devers. I feel like at the plate, just the way he acts is just a little strange.
Okay, all right. Donaldson and Cole hate each other. They made up, right? No, that's a good point. Do you think Pete Rose will get into the Hall of Fame? No, not. I think he should, but I don't think he will. My opinion.
I agree.
Jeter might not have wanted to do a lot with the games. Saturday night Foxes once a week, 5 days a week with the Yanks. Yeah. That I mean, he is a dad, so I kind of have to respect that. But I think let's see. Obviously, we went top prospect watch. Now, obviously, you may not be able to track this one until we're actually in spring training.
True.
Most underrated to make the roster.
Now, let's be clear. Is this most underrated that made the spring training roster or most underrated
to make the major league roster?
To make the major league roster. I'm going to go with Christian Koss, and it's because of the question marks in the infield. If there's any big injuries or anything, I think Christian Koss, if he has a big spring, not that he'll make the opening day roster, there's a chance, but he'll be playing in the big leagues pretty soon.
All right. I followed Earl Weaver because he's from St. Louis. What a character, yeah. Earl Weaver was just one of the. I remember when he died in 2012, but yeah, he was one of the more fiery guys. Curtis Granderson. I always liked Curtis Granderson. I always thought he had a good, charisma about him.
Yeah,
I think he works with MLB Network, if I'm not mistaken. Shout out to Jacob, man. Have a great night. So for me, I think there may be a few guys. I think Rafael Ortega is one. Willie Calhoun's another. Both guys make it as depth pieces. I think Greg Weissert could make a spot with Schmidt moving to the rotation, if that's possible. Same could be said with Herman moving to the rotation. I think Davey Garcia might make it, is another guy, because, we're going to need bullpen pieces with guys moving up the starting rotation. And I think that's it, to be honest, in terms of guys that, could surprise me making the roster. Also, Ben Roordavat. I think he might be able to have an inside track. Who did you like in the 09 Yankees team, like CC, Mariano, Teixeira, Pettit? Teixeira and Pettit are my two top favorite baseball players of all time.
Yeah, I mean, I remember watching that 09 Yankees team win that World Series like it was yesterday. I know you're a little bit younger, so I don't know if you probably do remember it, but it's been a long time, man. And I did like Teixeira when he was playing. I like CC, even though it pains me to say it. And Mariano Rivera's, one of the GOATs. So I got some respect and appreciation for that 09 team.
Now, let me ask you a question. You probably remember this guy because he was a Sox. Do you remember Vicente Padilla?
Yes, I do.
Do you know the beef with him and Mark Teixeira?
No, what happened?
So when Vicente and Teixeira were on the same team in Texas a while ago, Vicente always had this thing for plunking guys. And Teixeira would always be the spine of that.
Okay.
He would always be the one that got the payback.
Okay. Very interesting.
Yep. And then I think one of the last appearances they had against each other, where Padilla was on the Sox and Teixeira was on the Yanks, hit a 2-run homer to right field.
Nice.
So,
damn, okay.
Tony La Russa coming back to manage? Probably not.
No.
Best wishes to him. He I forget who the manager in Chicago is now, but he, meaning La Russa, has some serious health issues. I don't think he should have came back in the first place, to be quite honest. Like, I understand he offers the old school mindset. Like, his Buck Showalter is completely different, but La Russa was like 80 years old.
Yeah, he was old, yeah.
Favorite Red Sox player of all time?
For you, who's your favorite Red Sox player of all time?
It's an interesting question.
I think we talked about that, didn't we?
We talked about our favorite individual positional players.
Okay.
But I say Manny Ramirez probably comes on my list as a
I mean,
favorite.
it's Poppy for me. It's got to be
Yeah. What about Garade? I don't know who you mean by that, Benji. Do you guys like Babe Ruth? I mean, Babe Ruth was the
Girardi.
Babe.
Benji means Girardi.
Girardi. Oh yeah, I love Joe Girardi. I really did. I hated year after year not getting to the World Series, but he had a spine, unlike our current manager. Jeff says, "Do you like the changes in the MLB? If so, or why not?" It's
We
funny you
can
say that.
jump into it, right?
What?
We can jump into that, right?
Yeah, we could. But also, I do want to highlight this because we were talking about this, I think, a week or 2 weeks ago or something like
Oh
that.
yeah, yeah.
Because John Smoltz was actually very terrible with
For
the
the
Sox.
Sox, yes.
Let's see. So yeah, changes with baseball, the new bases. They now have the extra inning rule as a permanent. Big bases, I don't have necessarily an issue with. Apparently, it looks like a pizza box. I don't care. I don't think it's easier to slide into the base. Hopefully incentivizes some stolen bases more for the game. So there's that. Not a fan. Pitch clock, I might turn to like in the future. I can't get with this runner on second bullshit.
Ghost Runner.
And I'm sorry, what was that?
Ghost Runner.
Ghost Runner. Yeah, I can't get on. I can't get on.
They got rid of it for the playoffs, right? Or did you say they put it back in for the playoffs?
I don't know if they put it in for the playoffs, but I know for the regular season.
Oh yeah, that's
The regular
bullshit.
season
I
is
hate
permanent.
that so much.
When the pace of play, yeah, get the fuck out of here with that. And John brings up the last point here. John, I think you're going to agree with Sox if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so the shift, I'm a big fan of eliminating it.
Yeah, I think somebody mentioned it. I think it was during your guys' stream that it's just like it's when the NBA outlawed zone defense. It's just like they should be able to play everybody at second base if they want to. I don't understand just telling a second baseman you have to stand within this box on the field. It doesn't make any sense to me.
I know. I think it was Wampback Doodle who was talking about this. He goes, the NFL isn't making rules about how many you could blitz.
Exactly. So, it's the same exact thing, in my opinion.
Yeah. Jeff says, I can't stand the shift. It's awful. I agree with you, Jeff. Ghost Runner's permanent for regular season. Yes, Armand. Will more guys slide to first base? Hopefully not, because that is dangerous.
That is very dangerous.
I don't recommend it. Not that I've done it, but I wouldn't recommend it.
Yeah, I mean, it's worked. You've seen guys do it before, but a lot of times I really do feel like sliding slows you down. The sliding more helps of getting out of the way of a player or the ball.
Fielders shouldn't be punished because a player can't learn to hit the opposite field.
Exactly.
Well, but there's no reason fucking 4 outfielders should happen, John. So
if they put 4 people in the outfield, they should just bunt it down the line.
No, I agree with that, but you need to incent. I get it to that standard, but you need to incentivize more offense in a way.
For product. I agree. Although I do appreciate. I'm one of the guys that want to see a 0-0 ball game in the 9th inning.
No, listen. I'm a true blue baseball fan. I don't care if I see a 0-0 game in the 9th inning.
Sure.
Fuck it. But they have to cater to the new fans and all that sort of stuff. That's kind of the side I hate about the eliminating the shift and all that. Is WBC running with a ghost runner? I don't think so, but then again, I could be wrong.
I hope they don't, man.
That'd be unwatchable a little bit.
Yeah.
Because like the Dominican team is very powerful as of right now.
Right.
Like they're very powerful, full of a lot of different guys. Devers, I think, is on the Dominican team. For the extra innings, thought of this 10th inning. Both teams get their at-bats, 11th inning, or after a walk-off win for either the visitor or home. I mean, that's more applicable to the NFL rather than the MLB because it's just natural. It's just natural to have, the way the MLB has been working all these years. But my argument is 4 outfielders that you shouldn't be able to tell people how to manage because they're ball clubs, but then you could force them to manage in other ways. Favorite manager for the Yankees and the Sox? You were saying?
It's just like they're gonna keep changing rules to keep they should keep it the way it is, because if they allow this, it's gonna be the next thing. God knows what it's gonna be. Like you can't run that fast to first base because this reason or whatever it's gonna be. I mean, I think that if you allow one thing, you allow all things.
No, I agree. I see your point. Why y'all hate the Ghost Runner? MH, please don't tell me you like the Ghost Runner. You
MH,
might ruin you might ruin your relationship with Sox about the Pepsi shit and the Coke shit with
yeah, you
that.
better be careful, MH. If you
Yeah,
got dinner
you're on
reservations,
you're
just
on
make
you're
them
on a
later.
tightrope.
Yeah. I mean, baseball is such a pure game. I just wish it would last forever. That's the only reason I hate it.
Jeffrey says Tito Francona would be his favorite manager for the Red Sox. For the Yankees, that is Angry John, by the way, MH. For me, it's between Girardi and Torre. I never got to see Torre, but Girardi was just like he was there. And Torre had more success, but Girardi, he had more of a, I would say, out there charisma. Who's your favorite manager for the Sox?
It's got to be Terry Francona.
Yeah, Tito. Do you think the NFL will change rules on hitting players for players not to get hurt? I mean, they're gonna. They're trying to make this new rule. Apparently, first of all, and I could probably end up on this. And also Benji was a good comment. They're trying to eliminate some sort of an ankle tackle, kind of way Tony Pollard got injured. Which, I mean, what are you supposed to do in that position? And you know the QB sneak that the Eagles have been having huge success off of. They want to get rid of that.
It's just ridiculous to me. All these sports
I
change
hate
the
the
rules.
Eagles, but that part's ridiculous.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. You allow one thing to change, it's going to be flag football eventually. I know that's an overreaction, but it really will be. We're going to be seeing 70-point games in the NFL before you know it.
Well, it'll be like arena football.
Yes.
Let's see one more thing before we get to Jeff's comment. You guys know that David Cohen played for the Red Sox. I forgot that Jim Larratt's did.
Okay.
But Roger Clemens is also another one that we share. I think 18-inning games are ridiculous. MH, you're treading on tight waters, my friend. That's the fun of the game.
That's the best part of baseball, watching an 18-inning game. What other sport, and there probably is one that you could probably say, there's no clock. The game is not over until it is over. You have to earn every single out. You can't just sit on the clock and win. You got to earn it. That's beautiful.
And listen, I give a lot of people credit. I mean, the longest an extra inning game, at least in my experience, that I've been to personally is 11 innings, I want to say. But I remember my uncle telling me, he has since passed. He was a longtime season ticket holder for the Brooklyn Cyclones, which they were short season A, and then they're now single A for the Mets. And he went to a Yankee, it was a Staten Island Yankee game, but this is a Brooklyn Cyclones. And he left, I think he said in the 12th inning, but that game went 21 innings. So, and I think that was that wasn't the last year. That was one of the last few years before COVID. So I love football right now, but don't like head injuries. Not much you can do about it. It's a dangerous sport.
Yeah, I mean, you hear most guys, and let me just add this in. I went to a Diamondbacks Indians, excuse me. Jesus Christ. I went to a Diamondbacks Guardians game this summer, and I think that game went to 14 innings or something like that. But we left, in 8th or 9th inning. I had my dad with me and all that stuff. But yeah, there's not much you can do about it. You hear a lot of NFL guys talk. They think, we know what we're signing up for. And if it's a violent sport. So is boxing, so is UFC, so is MMA, all that stuff. So I think it's a little bit overblown in my opinion.
All right. Let's see. What about the pitch clock? Not a fan.
Not a fan.
Not a fan to start, but going forward, I might be able to adjust to it. You guys collect autographs? I have an autograph ball. This is not mine. It's more of my mom's passed down to me. I have a ball autographed by Greg Nettles. I have, let's see. Hold on. Reggie Jackson signed autograph. That was given to me. I also have an Elijah Moore autographed because I met Elijah Moore. Elijah Moore autographed paper. And I think that's it for autographs for me. Yeah, no ties, Jeff. I agree with that.
I got a few. I got a dollar bill signed by Nate Robinson when I was little.
Okay.
We got Connor Jackson, former Diamondback.
I think I remember him.
I believe Tony Percival.
Who?
Tony Percival, I believe his name is. Former pitcher for the Angels, I believe World Series champion.
Okay, I don't know the name, but
And then I got Eli Manning's autograph, which is my prized possession. You can see it up there in the back.
So Alex is not a fan of any new rules, except for the shifts. I'll take the shift as my full-on agreement. The minor league baseball is Pawtucket and Rochester Red Wings. They went 33 innings. I believe they had to continue a couple innings the next day. I didn't even know that. Thank you, Jeff, for the note. But I know it's Worcester now. It's no longer Pawtucket. Sox, how could you say the Indians? That's so offensive to people. Sarcasm.
Yeah, I know, John. Sue me.
Troy Percival.
Troy. Yeah.
Maybe that rings a little bit of a bell. I have a Babe Ruth baseball. Wow.
Nice.
Let's see. I don't mind an extra inning game, but no ties. Absolutely agree. Favorite movie candy? I don't go to the movies with candy.
Yeah, I love candy, but I don't go to the movies with candy.
It's just not a thing of mine, my opinion. But I guess we can start wrapping it up here for the night. We had an awesome stream tonight. Obviously, it took longer
Besides
than
my audio
usual.
issues.
Besides the audio issues, but that's always part of the fun and whatnot. We appreciate you guys tuning into the chat and just all the comments and shit like that. It really prolongs us the show. Will Jansen be the next Sox great closer? I don't think so. And then let's see what else. There was one more question. Favorite baseball movie?
Right.
It's a tie between Field of Dreams and The Natural for me.
It's got to be Field of Dreams, man. Sandlot's up there too.
Yeah. I have shoes, basketball signed by MJ. How do you think much of those will be worth someday? Had a college teammate and coach play with MJ with the Barons. That is awesome, Jeff.
That is cool.
Reese's Pieces and Goobers, my go-to candies to the movies.
I like Reese's Pieces, I will say.
Favorite Harry Potter character? Oh, God.
See, mine would be Big Blue in the Bronx.
You're real. That's a funny one. Sandlot. What is your favorite movie and horror movie?
My favorite movie is The Fugitive. Actually, Shawshank Redemption 2. And favorite horror movie would be Signs.
I feel like this is gonna be a going trend about me and Harry Potter.
Harry Potter, yes.
Thank you, Sox.
I'm glad we did this today.
So there's a couple movies that would be my favorite. Goodfellas, Godfather would be one. Bronx Tale, a couple of the mob movies. Field of Dreams, The Natural, Hangover. My favorite candy is my girlfriend. That's I like that comment.
I like that.
Let's see. Per Dan Duggan, 5-year contract, which helps out spread out the cap charges worth $185 million, $37 million per year. Seems like a reasonable compromise based on quarterback deals. Not a big fan of paying Daniel Jones $37 million, in my opinion, I must say. Favorite football movie? I've only seen a few. Draft Day is pretty good.
Football movies. Have I ever seen a football movie? I like Radio. I like Rudy. I think Rudy's okay. Yeah, I think Radio. Have you ever seen that movie?
I saw Radio in 8th grade.
Yeah, I think that's a really good movie, actually.
It's interesting. What is your favorite house in Harry Potter?
Slytherin. Do you know the 4 houses in Harry Potter?
No.
Oh, Alex.
I'm not a Harry Potter fan.
Do you know half of the houses in Harry Potter?
No. I can't name one.
Wow. Slytherin, Gryffindor, Ravenclaw, and Hufflepuff.
All sounds like stuff that I have zero interest in.
Yeah.
By the way, thank you to whoever. Actually, no, that's okay. So we got 15 votes on the poll so far. Does he look like? Does Alex look like he likes Harry Potter? 73% say yes. 27% say no. Yes, I am a twin. I am a fraternal twin. I'm the older one.
Sometimes you can't even tell which one's on the screen.
Yeah. So if you tune into more content, Benji, like tomorrow's Friday Night Next podcast, you'll be able to see my other half, and on Mondays too. On Mondays as well. But Sox, final thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen Benji in here. I appreciate you guys stopping by. Benji, Jeff, Jacob, Booyah, everybody, Jess Mess. Um, yeah, I mean, I think next week's poll question should be, does Alex look like Harry Potter, like actually physically? And it's actually good, Benji, that they put their names under our boxes here, because I swear to God, you will not be able to tell which brother is up there. I think it's crazy. And their voices are similar. It just blows my mind when I see twins. It trips me out. Anyways, great stream, man. I don't even know how many episodes we're in. 32 episodes of the Dead Red podcast. I was looking back at our texts, and it was last year on Valentine's Day that we were setting up the pictures and the thumbnails and all that stuff.
Wow.
So it's been a year, man. It's been a lot of fun. Yeah, spring training coming up. We'll see you guys next week. Subscribe to Big Blue in the Bronx. I think he's 90 away. A lot of work goes into that channel. So hit up all the channels in the description, and we'll see you guys next week, man.
Do you like Wizard of Oz? Not really a fan of Wizard of Oz. It's obviously an older franchise.
I'm a fan.
Yeah. Where's Ron Weasley? If I tune into Harry Potter stream, I expect to see more characters. Let's see. How many times Pete called them the other names during game season? That's a good one, Jacob. Do you guys ever get fan mail at all? Not usually. I know that's that's an older thing, but no, I've gotten gifts before. Not that I'm not endorsing that, by the way. I'm not endorsing that. Hayes, I don't know if he's still here, sent me a lot of gifts, including this lovely backdrop we got here.
I think it's sick.
But the biggest gift that you guys can give us is support. Obviously, there's more than that, but the most we welcome is support. Subscribe to Sox. Subscribe to Big Beat Reactions. They reached over 1K over there. College is going great, by the way, Jeff. College is going great. I will be actually a little storytelling before we close it out here. We did a Terrier news report today, and I was the main anchor. I actually dressed up in a suit and all that stuff, so I felt special for once.
To see that.
Yeah, I'm going to be sharing out in community notes and my Twitter when it comes out on Monday, so you guys will get to look at me in a suit. But also Angry John is on there, so he's reporting the sports. So it's like all good stuff, even though it's, not necessarily the sports content that, it's dead red or anything like that. It's still content I do off to the side. Like, comment, subscribe to all the good stuff. Follow and subscribe to all the accounts in the description. We'll see you guys next week, and we're this close, everybody, to the start of baseball season. Peace out.